Welcome to Launceston Arena for an absolute cracking clash as part of round 14 of the Southern Cross Tasmanian State League. It's Clarence, top of the table, up against 4th place Launceston. I'm Damien Gill calling this one. Alongside me is Brent Costello and the ever insightful Cam Brown. G'day, gents.
Good afternoon, Damo. Great to be here in a sun-soaked Launceston Arena. Really looking forward to this clash between the ladder-leading Roos, who are just taking everything before them in 2017, and Launceston, who have impressed everyone, I think, Brownie, haven't they?
They have, and good afternoon, Damo. Good afternoon, Brenton. I guess the interesting one for mine, Damo said at the start here, top of the ladder, Roos, so they're sitting a game clear at the moment, but Launceston, it's a tough ask for them today, Clarence at the home ground, but it's a really pivotal match for Launceston. If they can win, they're currently sitting equal third at the moment with Lauderdale and also Glenorchy. History will tell us in the TSL, Bruno, that you probably need to be in the top three to have a realistic chance of winning the grand final. And they'll get the bye next week, and then a couple of winnable games for them after the bye with the Tigers and Hobart City. So really interested to see how Launceston go today. We did see them 4 or 5 weeks ago, and fair to say they were disappointing on that occasion against Hobart City. So they were pretty disappointing. So let's hope they can respond today and give a good account of themselves.
And without their star coach today, of course, Sam Lonigan, who unfortunately was involved in an incident last weekend up there at Windsor Park. So disappointing that he won't be out there today. A very important player to what Lonnie are all about. But can they cover him, Brownie, do you think?
I think it'll be pretty difficult. I guess in some ways it's offset by Clarence have got Bailey, obviously, that's still suspended, and Weberley and Cox are 2 prime movers for the Roos. But look, not having Lonigan around, his experience, we know he's a terrific clearance player for them. So having said that, though, their strength is the midfield. So it just means that obviously the load will have a heavy burden will lie on players like Blackberry and Rundle, who really have to set up today. And looking forward to Leedham boys. We didn't get to see him a couple of weeks ago, but from all reports he's really come on and improved, and is a pivotal player for them because it allows them to put O'Donoghue forward. So we didn't see him against Hobart City, so I'd be looking forward to the midfield battle again today.
I had a look at the Blues last week up against Lauderdale, and it's a fascinating clash. They shot out of the blocks and really looked like just running away with the game, but Lauderdale fought back and then were far and away the better side in the finish. So they would have been a bit bitter with that, I think. They got off to the right start but weren't able to hold on to it, and their backline looked really fragile, and we know Clarence have such a spread of goal kickers, so many dangerous options there. I'm really interested as how the Blues actually hold that attacking pack for the Roos.
Well, they've had a spread of goal kickers all season too, Brownie, Clarence, so it's been fascinating to watch that. They've had at least 10 goal kickers a game usually, so not relying on too many players up forward, which is a good thing.
And look, that's really critical, isn't it? And we even saw, going at AFL level, Western Bulldogs last year had so many different spread of goal kickers, so that becomes really important for them. And they go small as a forward line. We've mentioned that a few times. That it's a different look about them, but it works really well. And Siggins into ruck, hasn't that been a good acquisition for them?
It has indeed. We're not far away at all. In fact, it's the first bounce, and calling it is Brent Costello.
Looking forward to this blockbuster TSL clash. We're underway at Launceston Arena. Sam Siggins, big palm down in the ruck for the Roos. He's been fantastic all season. Got his hands on it again. Sammy Siggins, as the Roos drive it forward for the first time this afternoon, goes to the 1-on-1 contest. Stanham fell over, ends up in the hands of Williams, who was, of course, in the news all week after that tackle. O'Brien gets the ball away, and Leedham taps it behind, only as far as Aidan Grace, who wheels around, kicks it inside 50. Grace coming across, no good, take the mark, but a chance now for the Roos to get the first, and they have. They're on the board early, Clarence, and it's a goal to Michael Blackburn.
Well, he's been in good form, Blackburn, hasn't he, Damo? It was a terrific kick from Aidan Grace. Just put it to the top of the square in that dangerous area. And a good contest, I think, on that occasion from Murphy Cohen. But Blackburn in the right spot, where he needed to be, front and centre, was able to run onto the open goal. A terrific start for the Roos.
Tremendous start, and you're right about Blackburn. He's been in really, really good nick. Back in the middle again. It was the perfect start for the Roos. The Blues will want to respond here. So breeze coming in. I'll get you to do your best work there, Breno, and try and assess what the breeze is doing as the ball goes up. Sam Siggins palms down, looking for Jones. It's taken by Gillow, hands out, finds Leedham. It's there for Powerfryman. The impressive Powerfryman goes long, a bouncing ball out in front of Nunn. Tries to bring it under his spell, loses a bit of tarmac, and out it goes. So it'll be thrown in. approaching attacking 50, in fact just inside attacking 50 for the Blues. So they look to answer an early goal from the Roos. It's thrown in, the ruckman collide, it comes out the back, Harper farms it out. Back it goes through O'Donoghue. It's picked up by Wiley, collected his Holmes, and he'll get a free kick for his troubles. He's not mucking around, finds Brady Jones. A nice kick out wide, finds Aiden Grace. Long hair, funny run up, Aiden Grace. Switches it back the other direction. It's an absolute shocker. Straight out on the full. And that will give Sonny Whiting a glorious look at goal.
How does that happen?
What was that?
Yeah, he just looked like he shanked it and missed it by a mile. He's normally pretty reliable by foot, Aiden Grace, but it gives Sonny Whiting an outside chance. He can kick these.
Whiting goes around, kicks the ball, umpire does not move, and Launceston has their first. So, absolute gimme that goal for the Blues, and it's all tied up, 1 goal apiece.
Well, we know 60% of your scores these days come from intercepts and that sort of turnover work, but on that occasion Aiden Grace just gave it to him on a plate, so he'll be disappointed with that. But Sonny Whiting just goes to show as a small forward, he's been a dominant player in this competition for a number of years now, and it's a difficult role to play, but he often plays pretty high for his size and very deadly around the goals. It was a terrific finish.
So 1 goal apiece early in this contest. Goals to Michael Blackburn and Sonny Whiting. Set up for a wonderful afternoon of footy as we go again. Leadham gets his own footy back, goes backwards. Good, strong tackle. Umpire said it was too high though, so a free kick going the way of Clarence. I want to get it away quickly. Here's Brady Jones, pushes it to the wing. Aiden Grace takes the mark out in front. He goes short. The kick's a beauty. It's hit Blackburn right on the chest. He goes short and finds O'Brien. Plenty of options here at the moment for Clarence. Sorry, not many options here at the moment for Clarence. O'Brien, the kick wasn't his best, and it's gone out of bounds for a boundary throw-in.
Interesting, Murphy Cohen into the side last week and had a real impact, kicked a few goals. He just adds another dimension to that attacking forward line as well, Brownie. A different type of player, big fella, can take a clunk, and he's also not too bad when he gets the engines going as the ball's thrown in over the... I think it was over the shoulder by Siggins. It was indeed. It will be Leadham's kick. So 1 goal apiece here at Blunston Arena. Clarence with a fast start and Launceston with a reply. Leadham with a shaky old kick, not his best, Grace. Will he take full advantage? He looks long and strong. It's a good kick for Stan and will motor on in and kick the Roos second. They take a lead again here at Blunston Arena.
Well, there it is again. It was a disappointing turnover from Launceston on that occasion. Once again, Aiden Grace, the intercept mark, and just had the presence of mind to go long. He knew Standen was running with just the goal square in front of him, and it was a beautiful kick over the top. And when he's got that sort of space, Trent Standen, he's not going to miss. He read the play beautifully, and another goal from a turnover, boys. But obviously the skills aren't completely on at this stage. A number of players have actually missed the target early on in this game.
So it's 2 straight 12 to 1 straight 6. Clarence lead this one by 6 points. The ladder leaders. Hope you're enjoying the coverage so far, wherever you tuned in. Right around the world here through AFL Tasmania. Sam Siggins is there. Tapped down cleverly by the Blues. Wrapped up in a big tackle. Ball going nowhere. All players dive onto the footy. Umpire is letting it go. Eventually blows his whistle for a ball up. Would love to win this game today just to get their season back on track. Leadham taps down. The Roos have the footy. Harper goes across. No one. Oh, that's a great mark out in front.
Big Wade Wall.
Wall off to Grace quickly. He does well to get out of it. Back to Wall inside 50. Anybody home for the Roos? There is. And it's touch ball, so play on. Blackburn gets it off to Standen. Standen tries to sell the candy off to Siggins. Siggins loads up. It's a good looking kick and he splits the middle.
Yeah, great call, Breno. Beautiful kick, wasn't it, from Sam Siggins from just on the 50, and only had 1 or 2 steps to bomb that one. He's always been a beautiful kick, Sam Siggins, and a long kick with great penetration. On that occasion, it was almost a 50-50 shot that he had, but he made the distance beautifully. So A great finish again for the Roos. Just really interested too in the matchup, Damo. I think it's young Ryan Tyrrell, the Mariners, got the job on Ian Callan inside the forward 50 today. So the youngster who's been in pretty good form for the Mariners too, up against, well, he's an absolute legend of Tasmanian footy, isn't he, Ian Callan? And so it'll be a great clash between those two players today.
Good learning experience, if nothing else, for Ryan Tyrrell. As it goes up, Wade, Wall and Leadham. Leadham gets the tap, not a decisive one, but it finds Blackberry, who gives to no one in particular, receives his own work. With a shimmy and a shake, he puts it long into 50, looking for O'Donoghue. He's got a bit of work to do to impact the contest. Comes late. Keegan Wiley takes it out of defence for the Roos. It's a good kick for Bushner, who burns, goes long down the line. Centre wing, out on the full. So I'll let down that one from Zach Bushner. And it'll be the Blues to take advantage through another Mariner in Brown. So Brown, he's got not a heap on. He goes long down the line to the numbers, looking for O'Donoghue, one would expect. It's Whiting who bustles in. The ball in congestion. No one's getting out of there in a hurry. Under it all is Powerfreyman. And it'll be a ball up.
Damo mentioned Nathan O'Donoghue in the call a few moments ago. Brandy, great to see him back in the TSL after a year in the NTFA, or a few years in the NTFA, I think he's been playing. So obviously best on ground at a TSL Grand Final back in 2011 when Launceston won the flag. As we see a free kick going the way of the Blues here.
Sammy Rundle. Had a good game last week, Sammy Rundle. He comes around and goes long. Not a bad looking kick. Aiden Grace there to mop up. He is everywhere. He's playing an interesting role today, Brownie. I might get your thoughts on that in a moment. As his kick out of 50, not his best. Seals a teammate into a bit of trouble. It's handed back into the middle. A pack forms. And it'll be a ball up. Defensive 50 for the Roos.
He's your classic utility, Grace, and one of the more versatile players in the competition. We've seen him as a one-out forward. We've seen him float back and take defensive marks like he's done a couple of times already today. He can play up on the wing, roll through the midfield. So he's a really important player for the Roos. Someone was collected there, but Lonnie get away with the footy. Hand pass off. Ended up in the hands of the Roos again, though. Brady Jones has the footy. He's wrapped up. The umpire has blown the whistle, but a free kick going here to the Blues.
I think it's Brendan Taylor here, right?
Yeah. So Launceston has a chance here to kick their second goal. We're 7 minutes into this first term.
It's been error-riddled the start of this game, hasn't it? A lot of, not a lot of great build-up. As Taylor comes in, pokes it home, and that's the second on the board for the Blues.
Well, he spent some time at North Launceston, Taylor, didn't he? And then went away at the NTFA and played at St Pat's and back again now at Launceston. So a nice finish from him. Good defensive pressure from Launceston, and we've got a really intriguing game at the moment, boys. Plenty of goals being scored, and Clarence at the moment leading by 6 points. But you mentioned Nathan O'Donoghue there before too, Breno, and he becomes a really important player for them because you do need a tool to play him, and it looks like young Keegan Wiley's got the job on him today. So you'd think if you're Sam Lonergan, you'd try and drag him back to the goal square, young Wiley, and just see if you can expose him for strength.
So it's Clarence by 6 points. 10 minutes in to the opening term of this Saturday afternoon clash at Launceston Arena. Wade Wall has it all to himself, but Leadham comes running through. Handballs away. Pulls with Launceston. Big tackle, though, by O'Brien. And the ball is wrapped up again. And we'll have the ball up just outside the centre square.
Just while we're having that ball up, boys, you might just see in frame there Jordan Roberts, number 12. I'd like your thoughts on his haircut when we get a moment, Breno and Cam, as the ball comes out. It's going nowhere fast, just slapped away in the end. O'Brien does well, finds a runner. It's long from Harper, looking for Siggins, does well, good body position, but the sun may have hurt him just there. It's Smith who tries to escape. Handballs to no one in particular. Across is Vanderveld. He's pushed out of the way. Callanan tries to get it on the boot. He does, but not an impactful kick. Out of play for a throw. Good pressure here at Launceston Arena.
Saw Jordan Roberts' haircut live up close for the news during the week, Damo. It is one of the interesting ones out there, that's for sure.
It's one of the great stinkers. As the ball comes in, Wade Wall at Leadham. Wall tries to win it down. It was taken by Blackberry, but he couldn't get ball to boot. It'll be another ball up. Yeah, I'm reliably informed he lost a bet, and that's just how it appears, to be honest.
Big week if your name was Jordan Roberts last week as well, wasn't it?
Exactly right.
Enormous.
As they try to get it out of there, Clarence, but again, good pressure coming. It'll be rinse and repeat. Under it all is Palmer Hughes, been in a rich vein of form. Palmer Hughes, as the ball Up again. Leadham collects his own work. It's a nice slick hands by Connor Smith. But he was looking out there for Brown, I think it was. It's down the line, but stolen by Wiley. A long raking boot over the back is Siggins, and he marks. Big Sammy Siggins. He's looking dangerous today. He'll go back and line up for goal number 2.
Well, what's really impressed me with the Roos so far, Damo, their inside 50s have been deep. Long kicks inside that forward 50 and allows them, when you've got a target like Sam Siggins, and he just worked his man under the ball really smartly there and has an opportunity now to kick his second. This is why he becomes such a damaging player. Not only is he very good around the ground as a ruckman, but he does push forward and he normally converts.
So when he comes, 32 for the Roos, Sam Siggins. Had a good season. It starts left, it comes back, and it's through the middle. Another for the Roos, 4 straight. They're on fire at the pouch. Launceston, 2 straight. We've got a ball game.
Well, he just worked Van der Velde, his opponent, under the footy there, and we know Van der Velde is not necessarily the best distributor of the footy, but he does work really hard in one-on-one contests. But he was just outmanoeuvred there by Sam Siggins. Used all his experience, of course, having a couple of years in the AFL system with Adelaide, and all of a sudden the Roos out to a 2-goal lead, Breno.
6 straight goals we've seen in this match. Yet to see her behind. So very nice kicking from both teams so far. If we get set to get underway again. 13 minutes gone, first quarter. Up it goes, Wade Wall. Lead him over the top. Lead him still in there for the Blues. He's had a fantastic season, we know that. Umpire will ball it up right where it was a moment ago. So Clarence lead it by 2 goals. Right, their fortress at Blunston Arena. Wall again, taps it down. Ends up with Williams though. Funny old kick forward. Just outside 50. Plenty of Clarence players around the footy, but ends up in the hands of the Blues. He dropped the footy though, and the Clarence boys are there to wrap him up. Umpire eventually blows his whistle for a ball up.
Powerfriman, one of the prime movers for the Blues. Brownie, I don't know if you've seen too much of him this season, but he's been exceptional. As this one's just a hat kick forward by Blackberry. Comes back the other way by the Roos, but it's sloppy bit of work on both ends of the ledger, and it's tipped out of play.
He's been in good form, Damo, and since coming across, spent some time at the Western Storm. Another one, of course, for the Western Storm was Willa Kelly Mansell. But in some of the media awards, he's featured really prominently in some of the vote-getting games that he's played already this season.
We know he'd be winning your media award, Brownie, as the ball comes back in. Or bounced, or thrown up even. Doesn't go too far though.
Who's that, Breno? Chris Grant's been retired for a long time.
I was talking about Gunther.
He hasn't played many games, Gunther, so he'd be good to have a lead.
He's been giving him 10 votes a game, so...
He's a promising talent, Harrison Gunther. Back in the side again for the Pies. Wouldn't mind seeing what's going on there. I can see on the scoreboard here at Blunston Arena, Lauderdale have an early lead.
Fast start.
Over the river as the ball's down. No one can really lay claim to it. Emerges, does Mastrocola. It's Aganis who picks it up for the Blues. Inside for Blackberry. He's caught high. We'll get a kick. So Blackberry on far wing here at Blunston Arena. Wide open spaces, just nudges. There's a strange old kick down the line. It was out of play. He was looking for Rundle. Never was going to find him over his head and out.
It was a strange kick. You really need to hit the true centre-half forward position. He's a beautiful user by foot and a penetrating kick. So wrong option there, even though Sam Rundle is so very good overhead.
So Palmer Hughes short for O'Brien. He turns and looks out wide and finds Wiley. Over the top, Wiley has an ally in Ling. Keep it moving. Finds Grace, who's been a bit everywhere today. He goes in the middle. It's a brave kick. A good one in the end. Finds Mastrocola. He'll look long. A deep entry. Looking for big Blackburn. He can't mark. It's swallowed away by Aganis. Over the back. Sniffing around is Cullinan. It's run out of play and it'll be a throw in.
Move the ball fast, the Roos, don't they? They're a good team to watch. They spread very quickly, particularly from the back half when they do have the footy in the likes of Holmes and these sorts of players. And Grace is a great connector, isn't he, between the back and the forward line? Almost a little bit like Lynch for Adelaide, the way he plays that role at times.
Wade Wall all to himself, and he's missed it. So, big opportunity blown there for Wade Wall. Did well to get the footy, but unfortunately, the minor score.
Tell you what, I just think it caught him by surprise how easy it all was. But, let down there. It's Hutchinson, I think, to bring it back in. It might even be Williams. It is Williams. He goes along.
Good
Now
mark.
to the paint of 50. It's taken by Rundle. Rundle looks longer down the line. Looking out there for Shepherd. He can't gather. It's picked up by Holmes. Plays it to Harper. And back it'll go. Off the boot of Fisher. Switch right up. Keegan Wiley's in a lot of space. How will he use it? He's got Sam Siggins offering. He's exhausted that option by taking a bounce. He goes longer for the skipper. Jones, who gives and finds O'Brien. O'Brien over the top will find Standen. And Standen will go and line up for goal number 2. Exquisite movement by the Roos.
Well, we just mentioned, didn't we, how well they move it from their defensive 50. And Sam Siggins was actually, could have been one of the targets there for Wiley, but he chose to kick long and found his captain beautifully. And a dish off, and now Standen. It can be shaky at times from these sorts of set shots, boys, but so very deadly around the corner, isn't he, with his snaps?
Here he comes. It starts left and it sneaks home. A good goal from Speedy Standen. And the Roos extend their advantage here at Blunston Arena.
Yeah, worrying signs for me. I know it's only early on in this game, Damo, but the Roos already with 5 goals. And I think what's a little bit alarming if you're Sam Lonergan in the coach's box for Launceston is just the ease in which they've been able to transition the ball from the back half. And they've got a lot of space in that forward line, haven't they? They've been able to get it over the top on numerous occasions. And when you look down the forward line, if you've got players like Siggins, you can have O'Brien resting in there. Then when you've got Standen and Callan, and they can get you from a few different directions. And also Grace can roll through there as well. So very versatile, but Launceston definitely need a centre clearance here. Need a lift from Blackberry and those sorts of players.
So 19 points is the margin as we tick towards time on in this opening term. Clarence v Launceston at Blunston Arena. Brady Jones goes hard at the footy and knocked down in the process. In the helmet, of course. Leadham's there. Gets held up with the footy. Eventually drops to the ground. The Blues get it out through Blackberry. They go forward. Wiley was taken away with the football. Ends up with Castle. Oh, good strong tackle there by the Blues. And it was Palfreyman. But the umpire will have this one. So Launceston's attacking end of the ground.
Just wonder if you're Launceston, whether or not you throw one behind the footy at this stage. It might be Connor Smith that is a man that you do get to do that. Sorry, Jake Smith, I should say.
Free kick going the way of none here for Launceston for being taken high. He goes about 30 metres out. The kick wasn't a great one. Ball spills to ground, ends up with the Roos. Still alive, but not going too far. And free kick's been paid, though, here to Launceston, so they'll get a shot on goal here. So a good result for the Blues.
Is it Jay Blackberry lining up on the left foot?
I think it is Jay Blackberry, so I don't think it is actually Brownie. Looking at the monitor, we're a fair distance away here.
It's Jay Blackberry for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Just back me in,
Brownie. Sorry.
And I'll back him in too from this kick because he's a beautiful kick, even though it's 50 metres.
He loads up, he goes out to the left, gets plenty on it. Never really looked like finding a home between the big sticks offline. A minor score for the Blues. Only really had 3 looks at it. So, kick out to be taken, Keegan Wiley. Must be said, the Clarence defence is up against it today. I don't see Rulla Kelly Mansell out there though, boys. As the Shepherd moves it down the line. Hutchinson keeps it going as well. Wrapped up is Taylor. He's going nowhere, so it'll be another ball up. I can't see. Am I seeing things or no Rulla Kelly Mansell?
I certainly haven't sighted him, and if
haven't called him, that's for sure.
No. I'd say the player that's come into that team is one of the emergencies, Matthew Hutchinson, Damo. So good call from you. He's just sitting off the stoppage at the moment.
So the ball inside. Launceston's 50, but ends up in the hands of the Roos and Holmes. Roos take it forward now. Callanan's there. On his own, can he scoop the footy up? Eventually has an opponent by his side. Does well to keep it alive, though, little wingnut. Still in the hands of the Roos. They go backwards now. Wrapped up. Umpire says play on. Ends up with Launceston, though. Chance now for the Blues. They approach the paint of 50. Tap down cleverly. Still alive. in play. Wiley's there though and collects for the Roos. He boots it up the line and straight to the centre, but ends up with Launceston again. So a bit of kick to kick here at the moment. Umpire said that's a throw, and the Roos will get the free kick now.
It was a bad fumble from Jake Smith. He should have taken the mark. He has gone loose behind the footy. Sam Logan has reacted to multiple goals for the Roos, so they've thrown one behind.
Here's Jordan Roberts. We spoke about him earlier in the coverage. Played his first senior game last week. Gets it to Fisher. Been out for a long time. Jordan Roberts, 2.5 seasons. So great to see him back playing footy. O'Donoghue and Siggins. O'Donoghue wins that time. Great mark by the big man.
Turned into a mark there, I think, Brent.
Yeah, true. So O'Donoghue gets it across to Denellen. Not a heap on offer for him. 22 minutes gone. It's Clarence leading by 18 points. 3 goals if you like. Pack flies. No one can take the mark. Oh, good kick out of trouble, but taken high too, I think. So a free kick going the way of Holmes, who played really well against Lauderdale in our stream a couple of weeks ago. Best on ground for mine, Brownie, in that game.
Oh, he's one of the finds of the season in that back half for the Roos, and together with Wiley, a couple of really good additions that have played some great senior footy for the Roos this year.
Here's Grace, who's been really busy in this opening term. He goes short to O'Brien. Missed a lot of footy this season, but good to see him back in the Clarence team. As the ball heads towards Palmer Hughes, but he sees it over the line for a boundary throw-in. So scoring dried up a little bit after a pretty fast start here in the opening term.
I tell you where the scoring hasn't dried up, just a score update from half-time at KG5. It's getting ugly, 13-10. The Magpies 88 to 2-2-14, the Dockers. So.
Benny Reynolds kicked the goal yet, Damo? Have we got that? Sorry to throw you under the bus.
Not in the goal scorers as yet.
Okay.
So Gunther with 3, which is no surprise to you, Brownie. Webb with 3 and the rest of singles, I think. His ball's up.
Okay.
Wade Wall taps down. Can't find red and white. Looking for Palmer Hughes. Bustling through. There's a couple of blues. Whacked on the boot by Bushner, and it runs out of play off the smother. So it'll be ball back in. So Glenorchy may be finding their groove, and it's going to be an interesting final series once we do get to it, because no team looks that much better than the rest, I reckon, as Wade Ball taps it over the top. Bushner snaps around the corner. Onto it is Williams. He'll try and get it out of trouble. It's picked up, and it's a burst from Murphy Cohen. He runs on in and snaps offline. He should have finished that one off.
I think it might have been Zach Bushner, actually.
You got me,
Zach
yep.
Bushner. And normally he kicks those because he's got that great agility and a burst of speed. So he'd be disappointed with that miss.
You're alive with Clarence now. They've turned the ball over here, and a free kick going the way of the Roos. So they've done well there, Clarence, to get the footy back. Right on 50. It's a high ball, top of the square. Anybody home, and no one can take the mark. Blues get the footy. Still alive for the little man, Ian Callan. He's clever, we know that, but not quite clever enough that time. And just a minor score. Would have been a ripping goal.
Unbelievable. He's working in a phone box, and just to be able to have that presence of mind, he knew exactly what he was trying to do. Found a pocket of space there to almost kick a miraculous goal.
Ball back in. So 25 minutes gone in this opening term. 20 points is the margin in favour of the home team. And we know Launceston, without their coach today, Sam Lonigan, and also Rulla Kelly Mansell, 2 of their better players, the Blues. So the challenge is ahead of them in this one. Ball in a pack, but taken out beautifully, but only as far as Clarence, and they get the ball again. Forward it goes. Oh, good strong mark. And it's played on really quickly. Roberts now has a little bit of time. The kick's not his best. It's out of bounds on the full.
Disappointing finish, but well done again to Keegan Wiley. His kicking has improved out of sight in the last 12 months. And you mentioned a really strong marker. It was Murphy Cohen. He's one of the bigger bodies in the Clarence side.
Oh,
and they're
dear.
not a tall team. So.
Not a great kick there, and now it's all Clarence. They've made a meal of it, though. They had a big opportunity for a goal there. Might have been in the back, it was. So the Roos now will get a free kick. Slide angle, about 30 metres out from goal. And this will really sting Launceston as we approach quarter time.
Well, it will, because the last 5 or 7 minutes they've just been able to stem the flow a little bit, and they got one behind the footy and have restricted some of the inside 50 entries for Clarence. But this would be a real blow here because this would get the margin out to 26 points with a goal coming up potentially here.
So here they go. 26 minutes gone. As we said, this will put a stake through the heart of the visiting team, and it is a successful kick. So Clarence move out to a 26-point lead. They're dominating this clash currently at Launceston Arena.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what you do if you're Launceston at this particular point in time. They did throw Jake Smith behind the ball, so they really need to get their hands in their prime movers. Sam Rundle needs to get his hands on the footy, so too Jay Blackerby, and just give their forwards a chance here. The Roos are really skipped out to a 26-point lead. Danger signs here.
Not sure who we've got that's kicked that one, boys. Do our best to try and pick that up, but yes, it's getting ugly here for Launceston. Across the river, it's Lauderdale with a 14-point advantage. They lead 4-4-28. Hobart City's 2-2-14 at quarter time. As the ball goes up, Wade Wall punches it forward. Vandervelde meets it. He runs into trouble. Jones all over him like a cheap suit. And in the process, he's thrown it. So it'll be Clarence ball.
Yeah, Tyson Hanslow with the last goal there, Damo, who's played some underage representative footy for his state, and he'll be really pleased to get on the board.
Brady Jones will take the kick for the Roos. Right in the middle of Launceston Arena. He goes short. And a good mark taken out in front by Harper. He goes short again. O'Brien on the lead. So time against the Roos here. 27 minutes gone. Love another goal. O'Brien centres the footy again. Back to Jones. Spent a lot of time on that strip as a cricketer, Brady Jones. We know that. He goes wide again. Now long. Right on the 50-metre arc. No one could take the mark. Ends up with the Blues. Good tackle. Ball alive, though, for Launceston, but juggles out of bounds for a boundary throw-in.
Dying embers of the first term here at Launceston Arena. Clarence well in control, 6-3-39. Launceston 2-1-13. The Blues with a lot of work to do to get back into this contest. Clarence really in the driver's seat as the ball comes in. It's one down by Leadham. The runners all around a Clarence. Blackberry does well to bustle on in. They get it out in the end. And it's Blackberry who gets ball to boot, and it comes long down the line. But the siren beats the Blues as they look to try and get another one on the board. They've got work to do. It'll be interesting to see what is said in this quarter-time huddle. Clarence 6-3-39. Launceston 2-1-13. How are we seeing it, boys?
Well, look, a 26-point lead to the Roos. They'd be buoyant with that as they move into their respective line coaches at quarter time. But it was on the back of some really slick ball movement from mine. They spread really, really well from that defensive 50. And some of their kicking early on, Grace particularly when he went long and was able to find Siggins, and Stannon got one over the back, which is a really great start for him. Love the work of Holmes and Wiley. They're showing a lot of experience, even though they're fairly young in terms of games played in this competition. So they're dominant, and we know they've got a lot of talent. I thought Sam Siggins was dangerous when he moved forward. So a terrific start for the Roos. Launceston, they've just got to find their hands on the footy. At the moment, a lot of their prime movers are down. They just haven't been able to get it inside 50 with any real purpose or penetration. So they'll regroup. Sam Lonergan will need a big lift here from some of his more senior players that we've mentioned throughout the call. And they do rely heavily on some of those players that we've mentioned already, so they do need an even contribution. But at the moment, danger signs, I think, for Launceston and the Roos looking very slick at the moment, Damo.
They are indeed. So into the huddles, and we'll take a brief break now before coming back for the second quarter. Will Launceston respond? Stay with us here at Launceston Arena. still in control. 6-3-39. Launceston with a real job to do. 2-1-13. How can the Blues bounce back here, boys?
Well, I guess it starts in the middle, doesn't it? And we mentioned that a few times, but they've got Polfman. Probably need a little bit of lift for him, but an underrated player in Chambers, isn't he? He often goes to one of the prime movers of the opposition in the midfield, and at the moment, he looks like he's running with Polfman. He spent some time with him in the first quarter, but they've got Blackberry in there. Looks like Rundle's in there and lead him, so they've got the big gun. So that's where it all starts for Launceston.
Clarence to the left of screen. The Blues to the right. We're back underway for the second term. So a ball up, not too far from where we started a moment ago. And Siggins and Leadham. Jones wins the footy for the Roos, and now they get it through Blackburn. He loads up inside 50. Anybody home? Standon's there. Oh, sorry, it's Callanan lurking. Standon picks up the footy though. Wheels around, kicks the footy through the middle, and Clarence off to the perfect start in term 2.
Well, it's a pretty easy game when you watch Trent Standon inside the forward 50. And the Launceston players went to him. He looked like he feigned the handball as if he was going to give it off to Callum. And all of a sudden he found a pocket of space. And we mentioned in the first quarter just how brilliant he is across his body with his snaps, both left and right foot, more predominantly right foot obviously, and already he's kicked 3 goals just early on in this second quarter, so some dangerous signs here for Launceston. They might have to change the matchup down there. He looks to me like he's going to have a 5 or 6 goal game, Trent Standon.
It's looking ominous, isn't it? Trent Standon, 3 on the board. Sam Siggins with 2, the chief destroyers for the Roos, as they start to blow out this one at the pouch. There's a 32-point advantage. The ball goes up and favours Leadham. He makes use of it, but it bounces away from Blackberry. He's managed to pick it back up, though. Blackberry's handball's interfered with. Rundle on the boot. A tumble punt forward. No one coming for it for the Blues. It's stolen nicely. And at the races is Joey Boyce. And he does well, does Boyce.
Great goal.
He finishes off. A tremendous bit of work from Joe Boyce. Burst away and kicked it through the middle. And Launceston respond just like they had to.
Yeah, it was a good attack on the footy, wasn't it? And he just burst through with some strength there, and it's a really important finish for him. And he's played a bit of footy at Launceston, a premiership player. I think he might have spent some time at Old Scotch, I think, going back last year and returning to the club. So a really important goal for them, Launceston, a badly needed one because it stemmed a run of 4 or 5 goals in a row for the Roos.
So they needed that, as you said, Brownie. Just keeps them in touch at the moment. 26 points is the margin. 2 minutes into this second term. 2 very quick goals. We're back underway again. Ball smashed into the turf. Big tap down by Leadham, but the umpire's blown the whistle. Pick something out here, and looks like it's going the way of Launceston. Oh no, he's doing the ball up again. Up it goes. Siggins and Leadham. Siggins wins it this time. Jackson O'Brien's there. Ends up with the Blues. They drive it inside 50 again. Mark, was it in the back? It was. So Launceston will get the free kick right in front, 40 metres out, and the man to take it is Brendan Taylor.
He's already kicked 1 goal, so clever Mark. Just had to be in front where you need to be on those scramble kicks, and he'll get a shot from about 45 metres out. No real angle to speak on, and all of a sudden, if he can kick this, it's back to a 20-point ball game.
Very important kick for Launceston, as we see Brendan Taylor line up for his second. Throws it on the boot, might be off to the right, it is, so minus score. So a little let off there for Clarence. Would have brought them right back into this game, the Blues. And it comes again. Dangerous kick. And it lands in the hands of Launceston and Gillow, and plays on, kicks a goal.
Keegan Wiley there with the kick out, and one he would like to forget, I reckon, Brownie, because he has gifted them a goal.
Well, I've missed him, Damo. I said during the first quarter how impressed I was and how, in particular, the improvement in his kicking, but that one just bit off a little bit too much. And composure there from the Launceston player. I think it was Gilly that finished it, wasn't it, boys? And Gillow, was it?
It was James Gillow.
So back in the middle again. And Launceston, well, all of a sudden the advantage has been trimmed to under 20 points, so it can happen quickly if you put your mind to it, and it also helps if the opposition gives you a couple of gifts like that one. Back in the middle again, Siggins and Leadham. Leadham doesn't win it convincingly. Power for him and bursts on through. Hands off, finds, who have we got there? I think it's Taylor out to this far side. It's won by the Roos, O'Brien. On hands and knees is Murphy Cohen just tumbling around. It's picked up by Blackburn, slaps it on the boot, long it comes, and it's a good mark. Well taken. They spin around, long and strong, looking for Blackburn deep. He can't take the mark. It's tapped down. Oh, Callanan emerges with it. Tries to find Chambers. He taps on. Pack forms. And they're all wrapped up in there, and it'll be a ball up right on the edge of the square, boys.
The other player that would be wonderful to see running around would be Hines. Obviously for Launceston, a prime mover for the Mariners this season, but he's been a bit injured of late, wasn't able to play with the Allies, but they would have loved to have him out here this afternoon.
Siggins almost out of the air. Got the shot on goal almost, but didn't go too far before the umpire called it back. So right in Clarence's goal square, this ball up it goes. Siggins and Leadham. Ball doesn't travel too far before it's caught up in a tackle. Another ball up. So dangerous territory here for Launceston. They'd hate to undo all their good work with a goal here to Clarence. Siggins taps it down. Ends up with the Blues, though. They've done well. They've get it out of the danger zone. Goes to us right in front of the commentary position here at Launceston Arena. Castle's there. It's done cleverly, though, by the Roos and Nunn. But now here's Roberts. He loads up inside 50. Goes to the one-on-one contest. No one can take the mark. Umpire has called advantage, though. And Launceston bring it through the middle here at Launceston Arena. O'Donoghue couldn't take the mark. He's there still, though, the big man. Falls to the ground, and it's collected high, his opponent there. So Clarence will get the free kick, and Holmes will take that. So not a lot down the gut, so he decides to go sideways to the far side of the ground. The kick was a little off centre. Still, the Clarence Roos have the footy. They go long up towards the half-forward line. Blackburn in front, couldn't take the mark. Pushes towards the boundary. Launceston player dives on the footy. Still alive, hugging the boundary. And back in. Launceston collect the footy. Good tackle. Blues with it. They get it up the line, and well done. They've done well to get out of that. And Gillow, who kicked the goal a few moments ago, gets it, but it's a shocking kick. Intercepted by Fisher. Siggins ends up with the footy inside 50. No one home. Ball towards the goal square, and still alive. And Clarence kicked the easiest of goals. And it's the little man, Ian Callanan.
I think you're underselling the work of Wade Wall there, Breno. Yeah. It was unbelievable to keep that alive.
It was terrific, wasn't it? It looked like it, for all intents and purposes, it was just going to be rushed through from behind. But Wade Wall, with a big body, just managed to create a bit of a spillage there. And Ian Cullen, he won't kick an easier goal for his whole career, I wouldn't have thought. A body blow there, I would have thought, for Launceston too, boys, out to a 25-point lead. I thought their last 5 or 10 minutes was pretty good at the start of this second quarter.
So back in the middle we go. The Blues responded with a couple, and now Clarence has kicked out again. So 8-3, 51, 4-2, 26 here at the pouch. Siggins and Leadham. Up it goes, favours Siggins, and he does well with it. Goes straight down to Hanslow. Out, Hanslow goes to the far side, looking for Murphy Cohen out there. He can't take the grab, and it trickles out of play for a throw.
So it's Leadham and Siggins in the ruck, as they have been for the majority of the day. Obviously, Wade Wall's been in there a bit for the Roos as well. Ball doesn't travel too far. Umpire blows his whistle again. So the lead now, 25 points as we approach the 10-minute mark of this second term. It's quickly around the grounds. Lauderdale all over Hobart City Demons at North Hobart. Big lead at the moment, 53 plays 14. Glenorchy as well, dominating its match against Burnie, North Launceston and Devonport to play tomorrow at Invermay Park as the ball goes up to the wing and out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. So, Brady, what did you come here today thinking about Launceston? Obviously, they've flown under the radar a little bit and collecting wins through the whole season, but just this last month or so, they've dropped off the pace a little bit.
Yeah, they just lack a little bit of depth for mine, Breno. I'll chat more about that shortly.
In it comes again. Brews have it, but Launceston do well. They get it back towards their attacking end of the ground, but a good mark taken under pressure. And they go backwards now, the Roos. It's Wiley. Goes over the top of his head though. Does well to get the footy. He kicks it forward. Castle takes the mark. Plays on quickly. Finds his teammate O'Brien. O'Brien too wants to get rid of the footy quickly. He finds his a player up forward, but the kick wasn't a great one, and Brady Jones tried to keep it in play, but the boundary umpire caught him and out of bounds for a boundary throw-in.
I think they've got the bye next week, Launceston, so it's probably going to come, depending on what happens in this match, at a pretty good time for them. I think they play the next 2 games at home, and they're both winnable matches, so still a lot to play out in this game, though.
There is indeed, as it's swatted down by Walt, picked up by the Blues, but they're going nowhere fast. Taken again is Connor Smith. He's wrapped up in a hard tackle. It'll be a ball up once more. So, yeah, the Blues probably going to be around that 4-5 mark, you'd think now. I think top three's looking beyond them. Blackberry takes the ball, wrapped up by both sides. And again, another ball up.
When you get Hines and Lonergan back into that team, it certainly does strengthen them. Hines has been playing a lot behind the ball for Tasmania in the under-18 level and has been winning a lot of footy there. He can also be a contested beast inside as a midfield game, which is very strong for him, and you throw that in with Lonergan, so they'll certainly get some more depth. But today, already only early signs, but it looks like the Roos are just showing up for depth and class at the moment.
Ball comes back in again. Wall and Leadham. Leadham's won a lot of the hit-outs, looking for Powerfreyman, who's got Gabby Chambers as a shadow today. Thrown on the boot by Bushner. Jones does his best to try and muscle in and take the grab. Can't, as it bounces off his chest and out of play for another throw. So they inch down the line here. Will be tossed in once more. Leadham and Wall. Wall gets front position down for O'Brien. Good hands, but he finds Boyce. Boyce over the top looking for Powerfreyman. Again, Chambers all over him. Farmed out by Bushner, slapped forward by Callanan. It's picked up by Donnellan. He can't handle the hot potato, and out it goes.
Interesting play, Donnellan. He had his Mariners year cruelled by a knee injury, so wasn't able to get a real good crack at that elite level. So just working his way back in the last couple of years to some regular footy, but predominantly plays off halfback.
Ball thrown in once more. Wall does his best to climb over the top, picked up by Hanslow. He's in a Blackberry tackle and going nowhere. Be a ball up this time. A lot of stoppage work. Leadham and Wall. Leadham front position. Puts it down and gets a chance to get it moving himself. Powerfreyman to Blackberry. The prime movers of the Blues combined. Looking down the line for Nunn. He gets in on the act late. Wraps up Mastrocola. Going nowhere. Another ball up.
Already Kelly Mansell is a really pivotal loss for Launceston today, because Donahue tends to be that long get-out target. Whiting is that small forward.
Powerfreyman, beautiful from the stoppage. Picks it up, goes to Nunn, who can't return the favour. Smothered out of play.
Kelly Mansell is that player, Damo, that can just lead up at the ball carrier, and particularly on a fast lead. So they're missing that type of player today, Launceston.
So Jake Nunn will have a kick here as the smother caught a piece of Aru boot on the way out. So Jakey Nunn, bit of a utility for the Blues. He stroll in, hugging the boundary, right forward pocket. It's beautiful off the boot. It's just faded. Looked very nice from Jake Nunn, but across the face and through for a minor score.
So 51 plays 26 as the ball comes back in for the Roos. Good kick.
Great kick.
Not a bad crowd in here this afternoon. The Hill, a few people populated over there.
I don't know if you saw that, boys, but after Keegan Wiley, it was a real bullet off his boot. He turned to the crowd and just had a little gesture. So I think he might have caught some grief before with that kick out.
Well, I'd say it's the Launceston Development League behind the goals with Trying to raise him up there, but a good response, as you said, Damo.
So Clarence have the footy. Some beautiful balking and weaving, but Launceston turn it over. It's that man, Palfreyman. And now they go inside 50, the Blues. Oh, good mark, taking it the back, play on. Touched off the boot. Still alive here. The Clarence player dives onto the footy, and the umpire will come in and ball it up. So the margin, as we said a little earlier, is 24 points, 4 goals, 8-3, plays 4-3.
Brownie, you called for it, and Palfreyman starting to get himself in this ball game.
Yeah, and he's a prime mover for them, and as we said earlier on the call, he's a good distributor of the footy, wins it pretty well, and has been in really good form for them, so they certainly need him to lift, and he's responded well since quarter time.
Ball to that far side of the ground again, tumbles out for another boundary throw in. 15-minute mark of the second term. Clarence holding a nice advantage at the moment. Just quickly around the grounds again. Hobart City, 33 points behind Lauderdale at North Hobart Oval. We know from earlier Glenorchy dominating its match against Benny Reynolds back in that team this afternoon. AFL 2, Essendon off to a really nice start against Collingwood, 42-16. Just an update from KG5. It is all Glenorchy, 125 plays 15. So
I think Bernie might be playing the Pies back into the form, boys.
That's what they were hoping for. Speaking to the coach during the week. So
some of us never dropped off the Pies.
No, some of us have as well, just quietly. Someone in this commentary team, it wasn't me or you, Brownie, said they can't win the flag, which was an interesting call. Not even halfway through the season.
We are now.
Not when you said it.
Some of us make big calls, others sit on the fence. I don't need to point out which is which.
No point making big calls if they're playing wrong.
Well, how can you say it's wrong? We haven't got there yet, mate. As the ball comes inside 50 for the Blues. Nunn trying to pick it up. It's Sonny Whiting who gets out and does wonderfully well. Sonny Whiting from the pocket. Puts it home, a beauty for the Blues.
Well, that's what he can do. He was hard up against the boundary line, swinging onto his non-preferred, and it was a terrific finish. He did have a player, Stuart Williams, was in the goal square, but took it upon himself. Not sure whether he saw him, but he's made a living in terms of his footy career over those sorts of snaps, and been a terrific small forward for a long time now, and he keeps them in touch. It's just 3 goals, so a really good response since quarter time from Launceston. If they get the next one here, they're right back into this contest.
You reckon Sonny Whiting did well there? So did the goal umpire, almost fell over trying to watch that ball go through the goal, so he did very nicely standing up on his 2 feet. Just keeps them in touch though, doesn't it? They're not going away, the Blues. So 18 points the margin now as we approach time on in this second term. Back in the middle. Juggled forward. Here's Palfreyman again. He gets it inside 50. Oh, couldn't take the mark. The Blues player. Palfreyman again, though. He's straight back onto it. And now picked up by the Blues. It's still alive, but eventually out of bounds for a boundary throw. So he certainly has lifted Palfreyman in this last 10 minutes or so. Really got himself back into this game. And it's no coincidence, his team as well are back in it.
Sonny Whiting we haven't seen too much of ball in hand for him, but he's kicked too. He's that sort of player.
Yep.
He only needs half a sniff, so if they can feed him, they'll score as Rundle goes long. It's a long floater. Mastrocola all by himself, takes it gleefully, and he's on the run. Mastrocola long out of defence, a big booming ball looking for Jordan Roberts. He can't bring it under his spell. Donnellan there to mop up. Does well, a dinky little kick over the top looking for Gillow. Punched away by Fisher, picked up by Taylor. It's a long bouncing ball looking for Rundle. Out of play. But again, it's at the right end of the ground for the Blues. They have responded here at Launceston Arena. It looked like really blowing out. They're just trying to keep themselves in this contest, fellas.
Well, they've had a high press now for the last 10 or 15 minutes, and the Roos just haven't even been able to get it past out of their back half. So terrific forward line pressure from Launceston.
O'Donoghue down for Taylor. Couldn't get it on the boot. Kicking away is Bushner. Coming out is Callanan. Just gets it in front of Donnellan. The Blues try and keep it in their forward 50 through Boyce, who just swats it towards the boundary line and will be thrown in once again. So, Roller Kelly Mansell, I agree with you wholeheartedly before, Brownie. A big out. Just misses electricity around the forward arc as it's down from O'Donoghue. Can't find a blue. Eventually, Denellen picks it up, tries to find Hutchinson. It'll be the Roos that claim it. Not for long. Denellen back again. It's a crunching tackle and an illegal one. So it'll be a blue ball.
Williams by himself.
It was Jones who came in and just absolutely crunched the Blues. So Boyce offers short, and that's where they head. He'll take the ball. He's kicked one already, Joey Boyce. He'll look to line up. We're used to seeing a Boyce do a bit of damage on this ground, boys. In another coat, he'll look to replicate. As Joe Boyce goes out, just get a bit of distance. It's coming nicely, and it's through! Joe Boyce, if you don't mind. Another for the Blues, and this is a genuine ball game now. It looked like being a blowout, but Blues say, no thank you, sir, back in it.
Well, it's 4 goals to 2 in this quarter, and we're still only 20 minutes old. What a terrific response from Launceston. It's been on the back of some really defensive pressure. They've been able to push up and lock that ball up in terms of repeat entries that they've been able to get. Lots of stoppages and just forcing their way forward. And Boyce found a little pocket of space there. He's honoured with the lead and finished really well for the second time this quarter. Fantastic stuff from the Blues.
Well. We have a contest, that's for sure. Do not go anywhere wherever you're watching us. Right around the world. Back in the middle. Brady Jones is there. O'Brien gets the handball out. Roberts goes backwards to get it. Collects it. Pushes it wide. And now the Roos go forward. Smothered ball. Still in their hands though. Palmer Hughes. Handball straight over the top of his teammate's head and boundary throw in, far side of the ground.
It's in order to get their hands on the footy at the moment, and Sam Siggins, after a terrific first quarter, just hasn't been able to impose himself at the moment. Palmer Hughes, they probably need a bit of a lift from him in the midfield. Chambers doing a defensive job on Pulverman, so they need some of their prime movers, the likes of Jones, who's just laid off then, to get their hands on the footy. Some experience now for the Roos, really needed.
So the ball didn't travel far for the umpire. Wanted it back. 8-3-51, 6-3-39. We've gone 21 minutes in this second quarter. Ball punched forward by Leadham. Ends up now, though, with the Roos. Here they go. They go forward, which hasn't been down there much this quarter, certainly the second half of this second quarter. It's been all Launceston attacking in this match. It gets right in front of us here.
Clever.
Very clever. And now the Blues have another chance to go forward. Smith gets it inside 50. Mark couldn't be taken. Ball to ground. Blues wrapped up and taken high, so they'll get a free kick here, Launceston.
Young Casey Brown under it.
Yes. So chance to go forward. He plays on quickly, goes the short option. The kick's not a great one. Doesn't land anywhere near an opponent. A teammate. Here's Chambers working it out of defence for Clarence. Mark could be taking a free kick here in the back.
Oh, I reckon he's a bit stiff there, Murphy Cohen. I don't know whether there was any untoward contact there at all, as it's switched up by Tyrrell. A good kick inside 50, and big Leadham, the big monster, comes out and says, thank you, sir.
Well, that's exactly what you want from your ruckman, just to be able to find those pockets of space, and when you can push forward, you become a damaging player if you can ruck and mark the footy inside forward 50. And well done to young Tyrrell then to swing on his left foot and honoured the lead there. It becomes an important kick here for Leadham.
So Leadham with a bit of a skip off the right. Gets a good piece of it, straight through the sticks, so it helps when your ruckman can put them through, and that's what Leadham does. Just one kick in this game at Blunston Arena. Fascinating stuff.
Well, I don't think any of us saw this coming. We just thought the Roos were looking really strong, particularly when they scored an early goal in the second quarter, and you thought, gee, maybe Launceston are going to find it hard for the rest of this game, but a stunning response from them, and been able to slam on 5 goals to 2 in this second quarter. And they're every chance to be in front at half-time the way this game is being played. Clarence still sticking with 6 defenders, just wondering whether or not you throw Grace behind the footy, just see if you can intercept Mark here inside that defensive 50 for the Roos. But no, they're sticking as it is at the moment.
Back underway, it's O'Donoghue in the ruck and Wade Wall. Wade Wall does well to get it out of the centre. Now Brady Jones, can he collect the footy? He does. He's wrapped up though in a big tackle. Umpire will ball it up. So hardly been sighted the footy, and Clarence is attacking into the ground, Brownie, of late.
No, I reckon they've had an inside 50 for 10 or 15 minutes, Brenner.
Blackberry gets it onto the boot. The Blues get the footy. They can't get it out though, but now they do. Inside 50 again, over the top, and in the back again. So another free kick in front of goal for Launceston, and this time
paid
it's
advantage,
Sonny Whiting.
umpire.
Oh, they've paid it.
No,
No, it's coming back. It's coming back to Sonny Whiting. So what a man.
I think it was Jack Denellen that just threw it on the left foot there, and again the benefit of Sonny Whiting playing in front. It was just perceived pressure almost there from Michael Fisher, just overcommitted. And Sonny Whiting gets an opportunity to, if he can convert here for his third, we've got an even ball game, boys. Who would have thought that 20 minutes ago?
It's an extraordinary turn of events. Sonny Whiting has been a champion for Launceston for such a long time. Spent a little bit of time out of the TSL, lining up to even things back up. The kick is not his best, and through for a minus score. So the margin now 5 points.
Interesting, just before Paraffin came off for a spell, and off followed him Gabby Chambers, and Paraffin back on and Chambers back on. So a fairly hard tag there from the Roos as the ball's out of defence for the Roos, wrapped up. And it might just come back in. They're really struggling to get it into their half of the ground, the Roos. A lot of numbers back in this side of things, Brownie. How can they change that up?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because they do have a small forward line. They've just thrown Sam Siggins forward, which has worked pretty well for them, particularly in the first quarter in other games we've seen this year.
Ball back inside 50 for Launceston. Blackberry goes on the left. It's across the face of
That's
goal.
a free kick down the ground, boys.
Well, there you go. And now it's on to Timmy Castle, right in the thick of it.
She's on.
Here we go.
Tim Carlson, O'Donoghue, a few more pile in.
Oh, into the fence too.
If you're Launceston, you don't want to do anything silly here. You've got the footy. You've got a player dead in front that can put you a point, give you a point lead here.
Still
and
going
Sonny
here.
Whiting is at the top of the goal scorer as this brawl goes on. You'd hate it if it's going to be reversed for Launceston perspective.
Continues here. The umpire's about to throw the footy up. Still on for young and old. And looks like a free kick's been paid here.
I reckon the umpire's chosen to ball it up, but no, he's gone the other way. So it's exactly what you didn't want.
Exactly. You called it well,
discipline.
Brownie.
Discipline from Launceston. They could have had a shot on goal and been in front.
Fisher goes up the guts. Hits his teammate on the chest. So wasted opportunity there for Launceston. All for a bit of push and shove. And now the Roos have it and have a chance to go forward. They do, but Williams there to collect for the Blues. Not a lot happening for him. He goes inside 50, but just outside 50. Good mark taken by Launceston.
He's been okay, Gillo.
He has kicked that goal a little earlier. Gets himself in trouble. That's not his best work. O'Brien scoops it out. Powell Freeman's there. So is Brady Jones, who lands on the footy. And umpire will ball it up. So it can't be too long left in this second quarter. It's Clarence leading 8-3-51 to Launceston 7-4-46.
Gee, that's disappointing though, Damo. I mean, they might get the next goal, Launceston, and it all might be academic, but gee, they had an opportunity there to hit the front, get the momentum, the scoreboard on their side.
Hutchinson slaps it on the boot, comes long and high. Clarence all over it. Mastrocola can't take the mark. Blackberry slaps it on the boot. It's Holmes who fists it and fists well out, looking for Fisher. He just paddles it his way. Does his best to gather Corey Shepherd involved. Blackberry again. Shepherd bustling in again. This is contested stuff in the forward line for the Blues. Going nowhere either side. It'll be a ball up.
Well, they're under siege. And this is certainly the best quarter of footy that I've seen Launceston play this year in terms of the games that I've seen them down south, Damo. This has been a terrific response from Sam Lonigan's men as we have a blood rule.
Blood rule, I think it might have been O'Brien. He'll run off. Might even be a couple of players. 100% agree, Brownie. They've been terrific this term, especially when you put into consideration the three of the players that you spoke about before that they're missing in Hines, Riley, Kelly Mansell and Lonigan. Probably in their top few. Really important players. So, no, they're doing well, the Blues, as this one's thrown up again. Nunn, undersized. Does well to get it out. It's Brendan Taylor, I think, who slaps it on the boot. Nearly finds a home in the goal. But on the last line, it's taken well. coming along is Mastrocola. Beyond the arc, it's just Wall who slaps it over. So, again, they're struggling in possession out of the defensive 50, Brownie.
11 goals to the right of screen so far out of the 15 in this match, boys. So certainly, for whatever reason, kicking downhill, once again, we often see it at Blunston Arena, becomes a real advantage.
So the dying embers of this second term, Launceston have done well to fight back in the contest. Can they get a lead at the edge of half-time? Ball going nowhere fast. There will be another ball up right on the paint of 50 for the Blues. The bulk of this term being spent around their half of footy as it's swatted down. Powerfulman tries to get involved, just punched away by Taylor. It's picked up by the Roos in the end through Palmer Hughes. He can't gather, and it's out of play. So another one. A fair few stoppages in this game so far. Thrown in once more. Half-time siren couldn't be far away. Wall just punches away. Looking to just get it away from their defensive goal. And it's Chambers who gathers, and he's going nowhere fast. Wrapped up in a Powerfulman tackle. Thrown up again. O'Donoghue trying to find Blackberry. It's smothered ball, smothered by a teammate. Jones down the line. Runs out of tarmac, so yet another stoppage. It'll be thrown in yet again on the far side here at Blunston Arena. A good game. Clarence fast out of the blocks. Launceston reeling them in as it's tapped down from O'Donoghue. Powerfulman over the top. Punched away by Gillow. Beautiful from Taylor. Then to Powerfulman. Then to Boyce. His ball smothered. Picked up by Powerfulman again. Out the side of Hutchinson. Trying to find a blue, a teammate. Can't find anyone. The Roos get it away. Out from Callanan. And then a siren. So brings you in a fascinating half of footy. It looked like Clarence were just going to skip away to a big lead. But Launceston have done terrifically well to reel them in. And this one is well and truly up for grabs, fellas.
Well, we saw, I think it was Trent Stanton kick a goal inside the first minute of the second quarter, and it was a 7 goals to 2. But if my maths has served me correctly, Damo, I think Launceston kicked 5 of the last 6 goals of this game, and they only trailed by 5 points. And as we mentioned, unfortunately, a little bit of ill discipline probably cost them the lead. They had a shot on goal, which would have put them a point in front. Sonny Whiting and a reversed free kick in the forward pocket. So that'd be disappointing for them. But what a great response, kicking 5 goals against the flow, so to speak. And it was on the back of some really good work in the midfield. Thought Blakebury started to get his hands on the footy. We mentioned Powerfulman. He's got a tough ask against Chambers, who's a very good defensive midfielder and can win a bit of the footy themselves. But Boyce looked lively. We saw Sonny Whiting kicking a ripping goal. Hamish Leadham had the presence of mind to push forward as well and kick a goal, and Gillow also got on the board. So a really good response, as we said a few times, from Launceston. Clarence, they just couldn't get their hands on the footy for the last 20 minutes. Launceston were able to lock it in, get repeat entries. They had a high press up, and Clarence, apart from that last little bit of play there, Damo, before the siren went, that was the most likely they looked in the last 20 minutes to be able to run and carry it through the midfield. So look, they'll lick their wounds and regroup again, and maybe from a psychological point of view, they'll think they're kicking down to the river end where a lot of the goals have been scored already in this first half, Bruno. But really looking forward to the second half, and it's caught us with a pleasant surprise. I think we probably thought Clarence were probably going to potentially run away with a comfortable win, but we've got a ripping game now.
Well, let's be honest, we were talking about Launceston's fortunes, and we were talking about whether they're out of the top 3 race, and it's swung quite dramatically here at Blunston Arena. Do you have the goal kickers there for us, Brownie? Maybe just sweep through those before we have a brief break.
Yeah, for the leaders, Trent Stanton has 3, Sam Siggins 2, and 1 each to Tyson Hanlow, Ian Callanan and Michael Blackburn. And for Launceston, Sonny Whiting with a goal in each quarter has 2. Joe Boyce 2 in that second quarter. He was pivotal in the revival for Launceston, and 1 each to Brendan Taylor, Hamish Leadham and James Gillow.
So there we have it, half-time here at Blunston Arena, a game of 2 quarters. Clarence 8-3, 57-4, 46. Don't go anywhere. This one is well and truly up for grabs. So back live for the second half here from Launceston Arena. Really fascinating game unfolding. Clarence had the best of the first term, and Launceston hit back in a big way in the second, inspired by Joe Boyce, who kicked 2 big-time goals. So there's less than a kick in it, boys. What do we expect from the second half?
Well, just from a positional point of view, Clarence making their way back into position at the moment. I can see Aiden Grace going forward. I like that move, Damo. He's played up on the wing in that second quarter and just struggled to get into it, and looks like potentially Palmer Hughes is in the middle of the ground. Ian Callan, they like the ball in his hands across half forward because we know he's so damaging on both sides of his body. So he might even roll up a little bit higher up the ground and see if he can get his hands on the footy and win some crucial positions for the Roos. Wade Wall looks like he's going as the deep target. So and also Brady Jones inside the forward 50. So they've swung things around a little bit here, the Roos, and they probably needed to because Launceston had it all on their terms in the last 20 minutes of the second quarter.
Yeah, it was a tremendous finish to the term by Launceston. In some ways, I don't reckon the siren came at a good time for them. Momentum really on their side. Just quickly around the grounds, full time at KG5, a massive win for the reigning premiers, 25-22, 172. Defeat the young Burnie Dockers 3-4-22. A dirty day at the office for the Burnie Dockers. Brent Costello, first bounce of the third term.
Looking forward to a cracking second half here at Launceston Arena. Underway, Siggins, and now Rundle throws it on the boot for the Blues. Not a lot doing as the ball's wrapped up in a big tackle. As the boys said, 5 points the margin in this one. It was set up for a really exciting second half. Leadham and Siggins. Leadham wins on that occasion. Gets it down to Rundle. Goes right on the lick of paint of 50. And mark taken on the last line of defence by the Roos. They bring it up the ground. Nice and slowly. Castle takes the mark. Plays on. Drives it up the ground. No one could take the mark. Jones is there. Does well in heavy traffic. Williams, but bounces over his head, and now Blackburn on the run. Gets it forward to Wall. Just. Wade Wall turns around. He's got Ian Callanan on his own inside 50. This will be another easy goal for Ian Callanan, and the Roos draw first blood in this second half.
Well, it's just a hack forward, wasn't it, for the Roos, and a fortuitous bounce that sat up nicely for Wade Wall, and he was able to swing around, and Ian Callanan played that pretty well. Donnellan, who was on him, I was watching that play about 10 or 15 seconds earlier, and Donnellan started to make his way over towards the boundary line, and Callan just stayed and made his way to the goal square. That's how he found that open space, and a great response for the Roos. Really important for them to get the first goal at the start of this third quarter, because it obviously stopped a run of consecutive goals for Launceston in the second quarter.
So back in the middle, a good start for the Roos on their home deck in this third term. The bounce favours Siggins unbelievably. Falls down for Palmer Hughes. He'll try and extract it. He's met by a Blackberry tackle. Gets it to Hanslow. A hack kick forward, almost won by a Garnis. Socket over the top. It's a nice one from Grace. Coming over the top is Vanderveld, and he does well, and it'll be 50, I reckon. Vanderveld, he was collected as he went to take the mark, and then Callanan took the ball after the whistle and put it through. So I'd be surprised if it isn't 50 here, boys.
Well, it should be. It is. Great call, Damo. Vanderveld stood under the footy there. I think it might have been Standen, was it, that crashed into him. But it was really important. Probably didn't need to do that, Trent Standen, because I think it was going to be a one-on-one that it might have been difficult for Vanderveld to mark, and Clarence had the numbers there if the ball did spill free, which it did, obviously, for Callan. But potentially a saving goal now for the Blues.
So here he is, Vanderveld. A bit of a shocker, high up and under.
Not a great kick for
us. Sets everyone a task. It bounces out fortuitously for the Blues. Boyce in there battling. It's Williams who comes and just extracts it. Thrown forward by Tyrrell. And it's taken by O'Donoghue. So the big, tall target of O'Donoghue. We'll have a look just from about 45. A nudgy little ball is a shocker. Straight back to the Roos. Keegan Wiley, straight on the boot. A big long kick looking for Callanan. He's got a Garnis for company. Oh, it's nicely handed off for Roberts. We haven't seen too much of him. A kick outside looking for Wall. He's got a bit of time and space to assess his options. Over the top for Blackburn in the pocket. Takes the mark. Will he play on?
Race by himself.
There's options aplenty here for the Roos, but Stixie Blackburn not short of confidence.
It's good play by Wade Wall, wasn't it? Just had the composure there to lower his eyes and saw Blackburn, who's normally a pretty good finisher.
He's kicked a lot of goals this year, Michael Blackburn. He'll wander on in. Tightish angle. Be a good start for the Roos in this third term if he can put it through. Never looked like it. Horrible. Across the face, out on the full. That's a shocker. I did not expect that from big Stixie Blackburn. Very confident approach, and just the ball drop didn't work for him as it's taken quickly from the kick out from Dunellen. Straight to Smith. Smith, long, strong. Under it is Hutchinson. He can't gather, and it bounces away from everyone and out of play.
Have you seen the ruck today, Breno? Lead him up against Sam Siggins.
Yeah, pretty even if I say so, Brownie. I think both have had a bit of it, obviously. So I think evenly poised at this stage. Still plenty of time for one of those players to take honours though as they go head to head again. Chambers wraps up Rundu in the tackle. Umpire says play on. No one can get the kick away. Someone eventually does. Goes to that far wing again, but now Launceston have some space. But it's a terrible kick, ends up in the hands of Michael Fisher. He goes to Jordan Roberts, and now the Roos have some time and some space. Here's Roberts again, under pressure. Gets the handball away to Jones. Throw Brown, he says. And wrapped up again for a ball up throw, Brownie.
Sometimes ruckmen just need opportunity, and we saw Leadham. He's obviously been that second string ruckman to Groningen for a number of years now. When they get that opportunity, they often don't let you down.
No one could take possession of the football there, and umpire's blowing the whistle, and a free kick going the way of Launceston. Just waiting for a couple of players to get off the ground.
I thought it was going the other way, but it looks like it's going to Chambers, potentially against Blackberry there.
So Chambers goes sideways, and now the Roos are on. They play on really quickly. The ball just outside 50. Williams is there, goes past him though, Standen with some space, and now a great kick and lands in the hands of Clarence and
big Wade Wall.
Yeah, good run there from Mastrocola just to get on the end of it there, and it was a super kick inside the forward 50 from Standen. So an important shot on goal now for big Wade Wall, who's had his moments in this game too with some strong work off the ball and is able to have some good assists. And if he can push forward, and they've got that ability, both these boys in Siggins and Wall, to work in tandem, they become a real weapon.
Wade Wall does not make a mistake, splits the middle, and what a start this is for Clarence. They kick another goal to increase that lead back out to 3 goals. Interesting.
Damo, there's no breeze at all to speak of, but for whatever reason, we continue to get goals kicked down to the river end. I reckon it's 13 out of 17 now, boys.
Yeah, it's we saw this at Lauderdale a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, early in that game? It was all to one side, the left-hand side of screen. But you're right, Brownie, today it's all been one-way traffic here too, just about.
Yeah, it's interesting. It happens a bit at Launceston Arena as well. That end just seems to get the bulk of the action. But, yeah, you're right, no real breeze. Bit blustery earlier on, but certainly not now as we're back in the middle. Bounce down. It's won by Siggins. It's well taken by Tyrrell. Tries to find an ally there. It's picked up by Big Leadham. Just slaps it on the boot. Leading in the foot race is Wiley. And again, agricultural from him. Long and strong. And it's a good one. Finds Grace, who comes out and collects. He turns and burns. Goes wide, looking for Murphy Cohen. Takes his grab. And all of a sudden, the red and white is swarming forward. He goes to the pocket, looking for Callanan. Well done by Dunellen. Spoils and out for a throw-in. A bit of niggle.
Would have liked to have seen Murphy Cohen then hit the top of the goal square, Damo. He had a man there who'd worked his way to the front position, but he chose to go to the pocket.
Thrown in. Siggins taps down. Picked up by the Blues, going nowhere. Murphy Cohen slaps it on the boot, out on the full. And Launceston's Mercury Cup team down there find a bit of voice.
Be interested to see in the last quarter, boys, just the Launceston midfield. A lot of those players, Blackerbury, Connor Smith is in there a fair bit too. They do a fair bit of work. Rundle's another one where Clarence have a lot more players that can roll through there. So the last quarter, by the time the last quarter starts, I think those Launceston boys will be pretty tired.
Denellen with a ball. He looked a bit panicked, and that's how he kicked. Finds Roberts to the opposition. Roberts with the loudest hair you'll ever see. Just nudges inside. Doesn't favour Howlett there. It's picked up and slapped away. Wall doing his best to bring it under his spell. It's taken by Cullinan. He looks at goal. It favours Siggins, and Siggins does well to take the mark.
He's going to be pretty happy to run around here and snap this one, I'd say. We've seen him do this before already this season.
I think you're right. I think he'll just move on inside and look to put through his third of the afternoon. He's a dangerous target inside the arc, Sammy Siggins. Tough one to handle. He goes round, he snaps, and he puts it through. So another for Sammy Siggins, and Clarence again with their tails up in this third term.
He's got his confidence up when he does push forward, and he's very confident kick for goal, whether that be a set shot or across his body or on the run. And 3 goals from a ruckman becomes a really important contribution as he comes off for a rest. But already, Breno, 10 minutes into the third quarter, and the Roos have, they slammed on 3 goals. Their intent around the contest is far greater than we saw in the second quarter.
Yeah, certainly lifted, that's for sure. Great to see Sam Siggins back playing wonderful footy. Obviously a bit of a tumultuous year last year for the big man, but he's doing wonderful things at his new club here, uninterrupted season of course, so he's doing very, very nicely. So 24 points is the margin. Back underway. Wall tries to kick off the ground. Didn't work for him. Now Rundle. Been a veteran of this Launceston team for a long time now. He kicks it forward. Good mark taken on the lead. They play on quickly though. The Blues inside 50. O'Donoghue couldn't take the mark. Ends up with Palmer Hughes. Backwards to Jones. Gets it across. And now the Roos run it through the centre here at Launceston Arena. Jackson O'Brien collects the footy. Gets it away quickly to Wall. He throws it on the boot. Ian Callanan's lurking. Does well cleverly. Disposes of his opponent. Picks up the footy, goes backwards to Murphy Cohen. He centres the footy, and the mark has been taken by Bushner.
Tyson Hanslow, I think.
Hanslow.
He has pushed forward already in this game and kicked a goal in the second quarter. But that's a benefit, isn't it? A swing across the body, the kick there that came in, and just in that dangerous spot to defend from a Launceston perspective. And this will be disappointing if you're Sam Lonergan and Launceston if this one goes through.
Yeah, look, an important kick here for Clarence. Pushes the margin out to 30 points. If converted successfully, it won't be. It's off to the left and it's still in light. No, it's gone through. So, disappointing result there for the Roos. Would have made it a very, very handy margin. They've got one at the moment, though. 4 goals in this game. Not a lot on offer.
Jay Blackberry with a kick out.
Yes, interesting.
Lethal left.
Oh.
This is not his best at all. Palmer Hughes can't gather. It's picked up by Hutchison. Just gets it moving. A bouncing ball out in front of Holmes and Gillow there. Whiting comes in on the act, but Holmes able to mop up with the help of Mastrocola. He'll just steady the ship and go out to the other side and find Castle. Gets it moving over the top for Fisher. Fisher, just a little kick down the line.
It's out in the full.
It's a kick that lets him down. He was looking for Roberts. Just put a little bit too much on it. Out in the full. Taken quickly again. Down the line once more. It's well taken by Shepherd. Again, just a nudgy little kick. They're just trying to gain some territory here, the Blues. Brendan Taylor, a long kick looking for the big presence of O'Donoghue. He can't gather the mark. Under all that is Palmer Hughes. It's taken away by the Blues, just whacked on the boot by Boyce. Bouncing out of play. They've got the desired result, though, for the Blues. They've got it deep in their forward line. Their first real look for this quarter. It'll be tossed on in. Right forward pocket here at the pouch. Comes in Siggins and O'Donoghue. Contest halved. Underneath that, is Whiting. He tries to get his way out of traffic. It's picked up by Chambers. He just throws it on the boot. The bouncing ball might just get away from Callanan. He keeps it alive, but only for an instant. It'll be thrown in once more. Still close to the Blues attacking 50.
I need a response here, Launceston, because they wouldn't want this game to get out to a 5-goal lead.
There it goes again inside 50. Oh, punch through. So let off there for the Roos.
Good effort from Fisher.
So Clarence to bring it back in. 13 minutes gone, third term. Been an exciting game so far to watch. Up it goes. Siggins couldn't take the mark. Hanslow's there, but Leadham gets it onto the boot inside 50 again. And now Lonnie have a chance. O'Donoghue's in the square. But umpire has called a throw. And the free kick going the way of Mastrocola.
It's been okay, Mastrocola.
He has. He's been very good this afternoon.
He's been okay, but the Blues would be bitterly disappointed with that. They had like 3 options on, and he just took them on when he didn't need to there, Hutchinson. Ball pumped outside of defensive 50 by the Roos, going nowhere fast as they all wrap around. Underneath all that is Grace. So he balled up again. So the Blues doing okay to stem the flow after a fast start in this third term. Lead them with a couple of bites of the cherry. Finds Palmer Hughes of the opposition. Picked up by Hanslow. A high kick. No real distance on it. Under it was a couple of Blues. It's taken out through Tyrrell. Kick down the line looking for O'Donoghue. In best position. Takes the ball and looks to bust through the big bull. Can't find a teammate in Taylor. And he's run out of time. Big O'Donoghue. It'll be a Keegan Wiley ball. Good tackle.
Was a good tackle.
Wiley nudges back. Finds Mastrocola. He has been handy, boys. It was a good point from you two. As Castle picks it up. Just over the top finds Ling. Back from injury. O'Brien, then Fisher. Good work through hands. Fisher long, looking for Wall. In best position is Vandervelde. But there is Standen. Gets round one. Somehow to Jones. Hands over the top. Blackburn wanders on in and pops it through. Great end-to-end football from the Clarence Roos. Another on the board.
Well, it looks very similar, eerily similar to the first quarter when Clarence just played on at all cost. And then I really like the work of Michael Fisher there, courageous running from the back half. And he's always had good foot skills. And on that occasion, it was his left foot and just pushed forward in the centre of the ground. And then really smart work from Standen. We thought he was going to do something else with the footy, but just was balanced, poised, and lowered the eyes and found Blackburn, who kicks the 4th in a row, 4 inside 16 minutes to start the third quarter.
Mentioned Michael Fisher there. Comes from very, very good footballing pedigree. Father Steve, a big name at the Lauderdale Football Club.
A decorated player at Old Scholars level, going back a few years ago, and also played with North Hobart. Played some good footy there.
He did
more
indeed.
As a forward.
So the ball wrapped up. Hasn't gone too far from home. 30 points is the margin here at Blunston Arena. 12-5-77 to 7-5-47 in favour of the home team. Wall, O'Brien, Leadham's there, gets the handball out, and now the Blues are away. Here's Palfreyman, who we haven't called a lot this quarter, has a bounce, goes inside 50. Not a lot on offer. O'Donoghue is the only man there, along with 4 other Clarence players, but the Blues get numbers back in the end. Ball to ground, and picked out beautifully, though, by the Roos, and they go forward. Still, though, it's Launceston that get the footy again, right to the paint of 50. And now they're off here, the Blues. Umpire has called it out of bounds, so unlucky there for Launceston.
I think it was Taylor, wasn't it? Hugging the boundary, did his best to keep it in, but couldn't quite convince the umpire.
Just some of the inside 50 entries for Launceston hurt him a little bit. Some of those long balls, if Donohue's not there, Clarence have been able to set up and just pick them off. They really missed that conjoint leading target of Kelly Mansell today.
So the ball down from a throw in, and it's picked up by Rundle, a tumble punt onto the chest of Whiting. Hasn't had too much of it, but when he has, he's been pretty good. Just puts this one up and calls for people to jump. Clarence all over it. Numbers around the footy. Brendan Taylor picks it up. There for Palfreyman, wrapped up again. Inside It's not gathered by Lonnie. A tumble kick away from O'Brien over the head of Donnellan, almost lets in Callanan, but the bounce favours them. Then over the top, Donnellan will have another crack at it. Caught high, gets the hands out, just farms it all right for Smith. He does okay in congestion, trying to get it moving their way. Tyrrell in on the act. Holmes tries to bolt away. A good tackle coming from Smith.
I'm glad he got the free kick there. It's going to go to Holmes, but he had for a sling tackle. But 3 or 4 really hard defensive efforts there. Just kept on going and going. Great reward to win the free kick. Bit in that tackle, Damo, or not?
Yeah, I said a good tackle at first, but it was the second motion that wasn't good at all, to be honest. So justified free kick, and no doubt it will be looked at again. Don't know whether there's anything in it from a suspension, but not the tackles we like to see, that's for sure. We saw what it did to Sammy Lonigan last week as Mastrocola finds it in defensive 50. A horrible kick lets in Smith. He's got nothing majorly on, so he just pumps on to the big target of O'Donoghue.
Good spoil, Fisher. Well done.
Big Fisher over the top, punches out. So I don't know whether he'll have anything to worry about, but you never know with those slings. Elsewhere, Lauderdale well on top, 98-21. Scrap that, 105-27. So
wow,
they are really putting Hobart City to the sword, and probably just about
good form. The Bombers, wow.
Well, they are, and we saw them early on in the season. We thought, potentially they would be around the mark for maybe a 4th or 5th position, but they're pushing up now as a top 3 contender. And once you're in there, history tells you in this competition, you're a serious chance.
Yeah, indeed. Hanslow farms it out, looking for Harper. He finds him, who's wrapped up in a big tackle.
And that's been one of the features, Damo, of the competition this year, hasn't it? Normally we've seen 1 or 2 teams at TSL level sort of dominate throughout the whole season, and it's been difficult for other teams to write a chapter in terms of getting up and being a force to be reckoned with. But not this year. We've got 4 or 5 teams that throughout the season have shown their best is good enough.
And even Hobart City Demons on occasion. I'm surprised to see that scoreline, to be honest, as it's down the left wing, and Rundle does his best to try and get it towards the square, but it's off the outside of his boot, now on the full. So the Roos will move it out of defence. Mastrocola would be hoping this kick's better than his last. Looks long down the line, a floater. Sam Siggins floats in and takes the grab. He's high in confidence at the moment, Sam Siggins. And when he's got his tail up, he's hard to stop. Moves inside. It's a nice kick for Wall. The big fella takes it. Looks for the runners and then turns around and says, I'll go myself. Long and strong under it is Blackburn in best position. Aganis does well, gets a fist in. Picked up by Donnellan. Just tunnels into Harper. Coming in is Blackberry. Does well to extract it. They're away now. Launceston, but not for long. Jumping in is big Sammy Siggins. Tries to find Holmes. Ends up finding Palmer Hughes. Gets it on the boot. A long ball in. Punched away. They'll try and get it out of here. They do in the end through Shepherd. A kick over the top. It works out okay. Nunn drops it. Gets it up the line for Powerfreeman. We haven't called his name too much in this term. Over the top further for Hutchinson. He'll look inside. It's a horrible old kick. It's a high one. And it'll favour the numbers of the Roos. Falls down for Taylor. Will he make the best of it? No, offline.
Well, I thought it was a disappointing kick from Hutchinson. He just turned around and blazed away. Didn't lower his eyes. But in the end, it worked out okay, potentially, with a score for Launceston, albeit only behind.
Sun starting to creep through here on a very cold afternoon at Launceston Arena. Ball back in for the Roos as we go just after time on in this third quarter. Here's Williams in the headlines all week for that tackle last weekend. The Blues centre the footy. Great really mark. Great mark by Sonny Whiting. And he'll go back now and kick from about 25 metres out, slight angle.
He's an intelligent player, Damo, Ryan Tyrrell, the young Mariner who's played some good footy at the under-18 level, but I've been really impressed with his decision-making today. He's pretty composed. He'll lower his eyes and look for a target. Liked his game today.
Sonny Whiting lining up to keep Launceston in touch. It's a good kick. He kicks the goal, and the Blues get one back.
This is why Michael Fisher can never let his guard down, because in this quarter I thought he's had some really good defensive efforts, but
he's a difficult matchup, isn't he? And I'm not sure if he's on him on that occasion. I think he was, Breno, and used all his goal and experience there, Sonny Whiting, to make his way to the front position. Knew the kick was probably going to land short, and we're all smart forwards are. They're in front, and a goal against the flow there because the Roos had kicked the first five, was it, or first four to start the third quarter, Breno.
They needed it. They needed it, the Blues, and they've found it. This bounce not the best from the umpire. Who'll have another crack at it. Now the Blues, they've found the answers throughout the afternoon just to keep in touch and not let it blow out too much. Siggins over the back, looking for Palmer Hughes off the deck. He's wrapped up by Blackberry and he's back. No, says the umpire. And it'll be balled up. Blackberry's found his way into the contest as the afternoon has unfolded. A quiet game last week, so I reckon he would have been motivated. Down from Siggins. Held without it was Harper. And it'll be his kick.
This is where the Roos have looked dangerous, where they've been able to spread really quickly, though. Launceston have got numbers back on this occasion.
You're dead right, Brownie. Red and white swarming all over the place. So a little kick out onto the broadcast wing is taken by Brady Jones. The skipper in a rich vein of form. A lot shouting for it. He opts for Grace, who takes a strong mark.
It's good overhead, Grace, isn't he, Breno?
Out in front of Chris Savage.
He's good everywhere, Brownie. He's my boy.
Yeah, I was about to say, if he's not your man, I'll go he. As it goes along from Grace. Over the back is Siggins.
Whoa.
Well placed. Can't quite take the mark. Jones does well to pick it up from the boundary. Will he try the impossible? It bounces for him. Almost bounces through. Just for a minor score. Nearly the impossible goal.
It was a
Brady
smart
Jones.
kick. I reckon he pulled it slightly just so that Wade Wally saw him at the corner of his eye in the hope that he might be able to run onto it.
He comes from behind again. Siggins gets the footy, but ends up with the Blues. It's a big kick outside of defensive 50. Running through his Rundle, gets the handball away. Just misses his opponent, and now the Blues have some time and space. They go to that far wing. Not a lot on offer, though, inside 50 for them, so they'll go back now, the Blues, and take their time. He's about to drive it long, but slowed himself up, but Holmes was there. Ends up with the visitors again, though, and now they're away here. Chance on goal. Centres to the top of the square, and a good mark taken under pressure by Wiley. So Wiley now, can't be long left in this third quarter, 25 minutes gone. He punches it out of defence. Good mark.
Blackburn, he'd have to be another one of your boys, I reckon.
He's got a few.
Yeah, there's a push in the back by the looks here. I think that's Rundle. It's taken quickly by hand to Roberts. There to Palmer Hughes, the hyphen. Just high up and under down the line, looking for big Wade Wall. Over the back was Vandervelde. Unconventional, but enough to see it out.
It's a shame. Sam Rundle played a lot forward as a junior. He's a terrific overhead. I saw him kick 4 or 5 at under 16 level for Tassie at the MCG before a grand final going back a few years. So he's one player they can throw forward, but it robs Peter to pay Paul because he's such a good midfielder for them.
Palmer Hughes, long looking for Siggins, does his best to work Vandervelde under it, hands it off. Now it's back almost for Siggins, taken by Donnellan on this occasion. Not his best kick, but just bounces inside. In fact, the bounce is good for them. Back inside looking for Powerfreeman. He'll do well to battle in there, as does Ling, and it's a high tackle. It'll be a let-off.
A bit crude.
Yes.
It was a high tackle from Powerfreeman. Came in late. They'll look to pump it in again, the Roos. They do just that, but it's right to the boundary. Probably not the right kick. Not much margin for error there. Cullinan touches on the way through, so it'll be thrown in.
Big couple of minutes coming up here. Not long till the siren will go, and a handy 4-goal lead to the Roos. If they can get one here, they'd be really buoyant coming in at three-quarter time. Conversely, Blues would love one against the flow.
Here they come, Clarence. Dangerous territory for Launceston. Siggins been very busy. And now the Blues, though, do well. Get it out of defence. Still alive, though. It's wheeled around. And now the Blues take them up. Nothing on offer up forward. No player in the Blues forward half of the ground. The ball centred. Brown plays on.
They're on here,
switches
boys.
it to the other side of the ground. Wasn't a great kick,
No.
but still, the Blues are on. Big tackle by Blackburn. Ends up with the Blues again. They go inside 50, high ball, and there's the siren. So
Shocking time for the Blues. Gillo had his name on that one.
yeah, they were lifting there, but there it is, the siren. It's 4 straight goals, the margin. Clarence, 12-6-78. Launceston, 8-6-54. So all the work ahead of the Blues here. Clarence, a big third term.
Take us through the goal kickers, Brownie.
Yeah, well, for the leaders, the Roos, 3 goals to Trent Stanton and 3 to Sam Siggins. The other multiple goal kicker, Ian Callan, 1 each to Wade Wall, Tyson Hanslow. And Michael Blackburn has also kicked 2 for the Roos. And for Launceston, 3 to Sonny Whiting and ever dangerous target as the small forward for Launceston, 2 to Joe Boyce and 1 each to Brendan Taylor, Hamish Leadham and James Gillow, which sets up a really interesting last quarter. Obviously, predominantly this game, the scoring's been at the right end or right of screen as we speak. A 4-goal lead to the Roos, but Launceston did slam, I think, what was it, Damo? 5 goals in that second quarter. So they'd obviously go into the last quarter with a little bit of confidence and know that their best is good enough to get really close to the Roos. But I just think at the moment Clarence might have the answers or like their intent, particularly in the first 20 minutes of that third quarter. Certainly put pressure on the ball carrier, and then they use their foot skills so very well with some really nice inside 50 entries. So it's all set up for a big last quarter.
It is indeed, and we'll be back for the last quarter. We'll take a brief break now here from Blunston Arena. Clarence 12-6-78 and 8-6-54. Stay with us. Back for the last term here from Launceston Arena. Clarence in the driver's seat, but the game not beyond Launceston if they can get a run on. We saw them doing it in the second term. Can they do it in the last term, Cam Brown?
I don't. Do you mean Launceston to win this game,
Yep.
Damo? I don't think so. Just think the Roos might be a little bit too much poise, maybe too much experience, and too much depth around that midfield. I did say during the third quarter, I was just a little bit concerned. They do have a heavy load, the likes of Smith in there, Palfreman, Blackberry is another one, and Rundle. Whereas I just see Clarence can roll through 10 or 12 different players through the midfield. So I just think they might have the legs to get home and win by about 6 or 7 goals today.
24 points it is, so a bit of work for the Blues to do if they are to reel them in. Up it goes, Leadham and Siggins. Leadham wins the tap down for Palfreman, does his best to farm it out. Leadham picks it up again there for Palfreman, there to Blackberry. Out on the outer side, it's to Shepherd, tries to get on the boot. He's tackled, Castle back the other way. A high long kick, Speedy Standen comes on in. Tries to win the mark. Aganis for Launceston. In for Hutchinson. Just gets the hands out. Palfreman to Vanderveld. He picks it up eventually. Farms it out nicely for Shepherd. Over the top looking for Gillow. Good clunk from the youngster. Right on the paint of 50. Wastes no time. Spins around and finds Smith, who slips as he marks. But he'll have a look at goal, and it'd be a fantastic start for the travelling Blues if he could pop it through.
Well, it was a good kick from Gillow, as you called it, Damo, and well done to Jake Smith. He ran, pushed forward, knew his opponent won the mark, and found some space inside 50. And it becomes really important the first couple of goals of this game, this last quarter, because if Launceston can kick the first few, well, then they're right back in it. Clarence, conversely, could run away with it.
Jake Smith comes on in and puts it through, and that's exactly what they would have wanted to start the final term, the Blues. They cut the margin here at Launceston Arena.
We know that's been the scoring end, Brownie, hasn't it?
16 out of 21.
Extraordinary.
Bruno.
So they're kicking with that in this last quarter, Launceston. So nothing beyond them, really. 18 points is the margin. So we are set for a cracking finish to this game.
I've been impressed with the standard. We know both teams have got 2 or 3 of their prime movers out today, and it was really disappointing that some of those boys couldn't come up. We love to see the best players running around at TSL level, but this contest has been a ripper.
Quickly in the AFL, Hawthorn by a point over GWS at the moment, and Essendon leading Collingwood at the MCG. Here at Launceston Arena, it's Clarence by 3 goals. Leadham and Siggins go at it, as they have done all afternoon. Siggins cleverly out of the middle. Here's Palmer Hughes, gets the handball away. Jones is there, tucks the footy under his arm. He's wrapped up. And now the ball with Launceston again. So here's Palfreman. He switches play to the other side of the ground. Oh, that's holding the ball. On the back. Yeah, fair call probably. He under siege there, so Trent Stanton. No, who's holding the ball? So Trent Stanton plays on quickly to Callanan. Callanan cleverly kicks it along the ground. Grace. Blackburn's there as well. Ball juggles itself towards the boundary. Launceston do well though and get out of trouble. Up to the wing. Punched away. Holmes is there. Mastrocola. And that was high, so the free kick going the way of Gillow again.
He's a good young player, Gillow.
Yeah, he is.
Showed a bit the last few weeks. He nudges this one inside, finds big Leadham. The big beast gets moving, rolls around, kicks to another big man in O'Donoghue, tries to muscle his way on in, and in comes Wiley, punching it over the line and out for a throw.
Only 3 minutes in, but you'd love the effort and intensity if you're Sam Lonigan from his Launceston team at the moment.
Absolutely. As we see the ball come back in play. Siggins and Leadham both win that. Tap it down together. Oh, good mark taken by Agnes. He gets the ball inside the centre square. Not a lot off Agnes again. Pushes it forward to Blackberry, who's got some time. He loads up on 50, heads towards goal, and just misses to the left. So that would have really ignited the Blues.
You're right. I'd marked it down.
Looked good, didn't
it? So often kick those ones when he's got time and space to break inside 50. Gee, that would have been handy for Launceston.
He'd have to be one of the better kicks in the comp, so I'm surprised he didn't put that one home. A glorious chance. Short kick out taken by Fisher, who finds Chambers. Done a good stopping job on Powerfreyman today, really blunted his influence as it comes long down the line. A few roos fly, it's taken away by the Blues though. Punched even further again, that time by Hutchinson. It's picked up by the Blues again. Under it is Palmer Hughes for the Roos. He wins it, gets it to Grace, receives it back. He's piled into, handed out. Hutchinson now with a bit of space and time. A nudgy little kick inside. Finds Whiting, who hits it nicely on the lead. A good lead and a good kick, and the Blues can eye their second of the term.
It was a terrific kick, hard up against the boundary line, but Sonny Whiting led up at the ball carrier, just found some separation from Michael Fisher, who's had his hands full this afternoon with a really tricky opponent who normally makes you pay when he gets an opportunity like this.
So Whiting, he's had 3 for the day from limited supply. Kicks it from about 40. He likes it off the boot.
It's a 50-metre penalty.
Oh.
He liked it off the boot, but yeah, something's happened here. I'm not sure what's going on.
I think you're right, Brandy.
I think it is a 50-metre penalty. I think he liked it off the boot anyway. He'll like it off the boot here as he pops it straight through. A real give me. And the Blues, they're edging closer here at Blunston Arena.
Well,
he becomes the leading goal scorer on the ground with that one, 4 goals out of 10. And they do rely very heavily on him for their goals. But, gee, more often than not, he doesn't let them down. And once again, Launceston, I just thought Clarence might have had a little bit too much experience coming into this last quarter here, boys. But, gee, we keep on singing their praises because they've just refused to give in, and all of a sudden it's just an 11-point ball game.
Doing this today too without their coach Sam Lonigan, of course. Also, Rilla Kelly Mansell.
Yeah, young Jake Hines
as well. You're right, Brownie. As we go again, what a cracking end of this match we've got coming up. Do not go anywhere as they go forward again, the Blues. And, mark is taken. Was it touch? No, the mark has been paid. So we'll have another shot on goal here for Launceston, and this to make it just 5 points. Can you believe it? Sonny Whiting.
Well, we mentioned Damo, didn't we, before the game and the pre-game, just how important this was for Launceston. They currently sit equal third with Glenorchy and Lauderdale, and if they could pinch this one, they've got a couple of winnable games at home.
Whiting lining up. We're right behind this one in the commentary box. It looks really, really nice. Straight through the high diddle, and Launceston are back to within 5 points.
5 goals for Whiting and just 5 points in it. This game has turned on its head in no time, Brownie.
Well, Clarence, I'm not sure what you do now. Do you put one behind the footy? Maybe not. You've got to back your team in, and going and watching the players come into the midfield now. They've got some of the big guns in there. Chambers has been there as that defensive midfielder throughout the whole game, but O'Brien and Jones, some of the leaders. Wade Wall starting in the ruck. We can see Siggins standing inside the forward 50. So the firepower's there for the Roos, but Launceston just dominant in the first 5 or 6 minutes around the stoppage and contest.
Seen it all day. It's ebbed and flowed. What does the Dying Embers have in store? It's swatted down from Wade Wall. He had it all on his own. Goes to Powerfreyman though. He gets it nicely, picks it up, but it's not his best ball.
I don't think they've led at any stage of this game, boys, have they, Launceston?
No.
You see Chris Hills, the former North Launceston player, and coached Launceston last year. He's had to go and get the footy.
He's been coaching on the bench this afternoon. Good to see him still involved with the club.
That's a bit of a round of applause too for his efforts.
Ball back in play right in front of us here at Blunston Arena in the commentary box. Leadham wins it down. Walls there for the Roos. Big bump off the footy. And out of bounds, exactly the same spot as a few moments ago. So 5 points is the buffer. Clarence has the advantage, but Launceston are coming in this game, Damien Gill.
Less than a kick in it comes. Leadham terrific from the hit out. It falls nicely for Shepherd. Gets it moving, looking for Big O'Donoghue. He does his best to make it a contest. Holmes paddles towards the line. It was off Blackberry and out for a throw.
At this particular point in time, both teams happy to have one sitting behind the footy. It's Mastrocola for the Roos, and Jake Smith at the moment is a loose player for Launceston.
Just quickly around the grounds, Lauderdale on their way to a massive win. 8 goals was your call, I think, Brownie. Not getting near that. As Palmer Hughes is under this one, wrapped up nicely from Powerfreyman. So a ball up.
GWS kicked away from Hawthorn too at UTAS Stadium. Essendon doing it easy over Collingwood as we see the ball go up again. It's Leadham that wins at that time. Ball right on the paint of 50 for Launceston. They get it inside 50 again. Anybody home? There is, but it's a Clarence player. It's Mastrocola.
They've got to work hard here, the Roos.
They do indeed, Brownie. Ball goes to the far side of the ground. Murphy Cohen has the footy. He pushes it to the boundary side, the far boundary side.
Jordan Roberts is on. No.
Gone back to Murphy Cohen. So they're slowing it down here, the Roos. They end up pushing it forward and punched away out of bounds, boundary throw-in.
So the Roos will potentially roll forward a little bit here if they can.
I'm gonna put it on you, Brownie. Who wins this ball game?
I'll go with the Roos at this particular point. But, gee, I've been so impressed with Launceston and their tenacity to never throw away this contest. They've never led all day, and here's an inside 50.
It's an inside 50 from Blackburn, and it's a good one. Whiting does his best in a crowded forward line surrounded by red and white. Roberts runs it over.
Breno would probably pick the draw.
Oh, look, I don't mind sitting on the fence, Brownie. We know that. So, draw for me, yep.
Okay. He'll look like a genius if it happens.
Just extraordinary how much this right-hand side of the ground has been where the goals have come today, boys, isn't it?
No rhyme or reason as the ball comes in. Wall tries to get a hit out to it, doesn't get meaningful contact. It's almost taken from Palmer Hughes, but it'll be another ball up. No rhyme or reason as to why all the goals are being kicked towards that end, but it is the way. Maybe a slight breeze, but nothing massive.
No.
As it's a big fist attempted by Leadham. And another ball up here. Almost forward 50 there for the Blues. Sorry, Brownie.
It's that sort of game where not many players have put their hand up to have a real four-quarter game. Different players have drifted in and out of the contest today.
Powerfreyman's one of those. He gets a 1-2 and then looks out to the outside, finds Denellen, puts it back for Powerfreyman. Will he take the shot on? He snaps! Oh, a timely fist from Mastrocola, who's been good today. That might be his best involvement. A behind for the Blues.
So they bring it back into play. This is definitely going up a notch, this game. Mark taken by the Blues inside 50, but the kick goes into the hands of Jackson O'Brien. 12 minutes gone, final term, 4 points is the margin in favour of the home team, Clarence. Jackson O'Brien drives it to the far boundary. Siggins is there, takes the mark.
If you're Launceston, you must watch Trent Stannon in these situations. He
yes.
Often, if he's got some room and space where he can run on the open ball, he can do a lot of damage.
Brady Jones to that far wing again. Intercepted though. Still in the hands of the Blues, but Palmer Hughes sees it over the boundary for another boundary throw-in.
It's going to be a matter of nerve, isn't it, Brownie? Whoever holds their nerve with just 4 points in it, deep in this ball game. It's been a terrific game. It's thrown in. Leadham, fist down. Gets it back from Blackberry, hands it over the top. Hoping for a runner, he finds one. It's Taylor. Gets it back over the top again. They'll bring it inside 50 now. Get low, almost over the back. He tries his best with a mark, but now Fisher's at the races. And through he goes. Hands over the top to Castle. He might just get it back. He does, Fisher. Does well with vision. On the outside, looking for Ling. Ling tries to run it down, busting through his Hutchinson. Yeah. Sorry, Williams, who
Strange
sees it over.
decision for mine there, going sideways, Stannon. He had Trent Stannon, who was streaming forward inside forward 50, and he did motion to him that that's where the kick should have gone. They're away then, the Roos.
They were. I agree with you. It was a strange decision as it's thrown in. Wall in best position. Neither ruckman can make much
Good
of
smother.
it. It was a good smother indeed by Wall. Taken from Harper. Denellen wraps him up in a big tackle. It'll be a ball up inside the square. Just 4 points in it here at the pouch. The Roos in the lead. Launceston haven't led all day. Will they lead when it matters? Palmer Hughes under it. He's not really trying to get it out, and I think the umpire, no, he doesn't know. It'll be another ball up.
I'm just wondering if you're the Roos, it may be worth just pushing Aidan Grace forward inside that forward 50, just to give something Launceston for something else to have a look at there.
Just quietly, Wade Ball wandering off with a bit of a sore wrist by the looks. Comes out to Powerfreeman. No, rather it's someone else from the Blues.
Clarence driving it forward. I'll save you there, Gilt.
Bushner.
Yes, Bushner.
He picks it up. He'll look to burst inside 50. Zach Bushner over the back. Will he find Callanan? Yes, he will. And Callanan will score from the goal line. No question about it, Ian Callanan. Bushner, good bit of work there on the wing.
It was a terrific bit of work. And look, he played to his athletic attributes, Zach Bushner, because he has blistering speed. And when he gets an opportunity, he's got wonderful athletic traits as well with his agility.
Ian Callanan
he
slots
created
the goal.
that goal.
He slots it, Ian Callanan, so a bit of breathing space for Clarence. The lead now is back out to 10 points, and we're 15 minutes gone in this fourth and final quarter.
Yeah, 3 goals each to the small forwards in Callanan and Stanton. It's been a feature of this game when you throw in Sonny Whiting, who has 5. So really enjoyed the work of the small forwards, as we say, and a really important response. I've mentioned throughout the call, I don't think Launceston have hit the front. Gee, they've gone close on a couple of occasions. Just a steadying goal for the Roos. Badly needed.
Just noticed too, Jeremy Weberly, the Roos coach, has shifted from the box down to the boundary line in deep discussion with Scott McCullum and Mitch McPherson, the 2 runners down there on the boundary, as it's slammed down again. O'Donoghue almost tunnelled there and falls to ground. He's okay. And now the Roos have it, but Launceston win it out. And now they're away. Rundle couldn't manage to get the footy. Jones now for the Clarence. Kicks
Great
it to the wing. Palmer Hughes is there. Takes the mark, running back with the flight of the footy. So Palmer Hughes been a star for Clarence all season. They lead this one by 10 points. He goes backwards to Michael Fisher. Fisher has Holmes, but he decides to go straight ahead down the line. And now here's Brady Jones. Jones inside 50. Callanan, does it hit him? Just in front of him. He does well. And he's taken over the boundary line, though, for another boundary throw. So it's in Clarence's attacking half, just where they want it. As I said, lead by 10 points. Got a beauty coming up here in the final 10 minutes. And it comes again. Siggins gets it all to himself, helps himself to the footy, centres it. No one could take the mark. Blues have it now. Oh, big tackle by Roberts. Now Bushner. Bushner, what can he do? Gets it away. Grace now. He goes backwards. Murphy Cohen under the pump, couldn't get the mark. And now Launceston out of danger. Paul Freeman, look at this, there's some time.
Oh,
unfortunately didn't use the option, it was ahead of him.
Some Not sure. Volleyball set or spike.
Brady Jones does well. But Launceston still have the football. They're under the pump, the Blues, they've done well. Denellen gets it away, and now here's a chance for Launceston. They load up just inside 50, it goes to the line, it's touched. Touched on the line.
Jeez, that's a big call.
Well, I thought that was some sort of set play, the volleyball effort there. And obviously when that happens, everyone streams forward and we run and kick a goal. But, they've been a bit stiff, Launceston, on a couple of occasions.
A couple of those really close to the goal line.
Look out.
The Roos are away here, and over the back it's Ian Callanan, not the man you want. Oh, good. At least made him earn it. I'll give him that. So Ian Callanan with a free kick will go back for his 4th.
Well done, Bushner, again with the assist. Hasn't had a massive day today, but he's an important player because when he does get his hands on the ball, we know he's got speed and athleticism and a big long kick as well, and he used it on that occasion. And Callanan just used all his experience there, didn't panic, unfortunately. They pay that free kick all the time, Bruno, don't they, when they see you taking your eyes off the footy.
Here comes Callanan. Kicks and kicks truly, so Clarence a bit more breathing space now. The margin back out to 15 points. It's the Roos, 14-6-90. Launceston, 11-9-75.
Gee, it's a fine line, isn't it? The Launceston, I'm not sure who was the shot on goal there before, boys, from that was just touched on the line from Hutchinson. And look, a 2-goal turnaround, really. And Clarence, who haven't scored a lot to the left of screen, only 2 goals in that second quarter, but importantly, the last 2 goals of this game, and have just got out to a 15-point game. Looking forward to Breno's votes at the end too, Damo. Not an easy game to give today.
Always get the hard ones.
Especially if you're sitting on the fence for most of your life.
Yeah, he could just say all played well.
Yeah.
Can I
Everyone
give
played well.
Aiden Grace 6?
6?
As in
Does love
3, 2, and
Grace.
1?
That'd be an interesting vote as it goes up. O'Donoghue and Wall. O'Donoghue with the hit out, but it favours Chambers. Tries to slap it on the boot. Well smothered by Rundle. Then in is Hutchinson wrapping up, as does a teammate again in Rundle. And it'll be another ball up. Chambers with the ball in hand. So the Blues, well, I think they're just going to be gallant in defeat here, boys.
Written them off, Damo.
I have.
You have?
It's O'Donoghue that just slaps it the way of the Blues. Brady Jones does well in traffic, finds O'Brien. O'Brien with a long kick looking for Callanan. Slapped away by Savage. It'll find the boundary, or will it? Hanslow picks it up and runs it over. So throw in again. The right end of the ground for the Roos.
Clarence have pushed Zach Bushner forward, one out against Stuart Williams, I think it is, for Launceston. He's got a significant height advantage there, so if the Roos do get a stoppage clearance here, they've got every chance with Bushner one out.
So here they go again, the Roos. Jones gets the handball away. Roos player wrapped up over the boundary for another boundary throw in.
Just quietly, boys, around the grounds, Hawthorn and GWS have played out a draw.
Oh,
Oh, I tipped that.
Well, Breno did tip a draw, but I don't think it was that game.
no, that's right. Well, there you go. So ball back in play here at Launceston Arena. AFL game here in a few weeks' time as well. Damo's D's heading to town.
Just look out for that as Blackberry tries to guide it down the line. It's a smothered ball. And in fact, it's been paid out on the full, is it?
How about that, boys? GWS 2 draws in as many weeks. That's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's
I wonder when the
bizarre.
last time that happened.
That is a good stat.
happened
Brownie,
a
we'll
lot-
leave that with you, Brownie.
Long
Come back
from
to us.
Palmer Hughes. A big pack forms. Denellen picks it up. He's wrapped in a Grace tackle, going nowhere.
Didn't have a draw as of last weekend, the Giants, and now they've got 2 in a row. Extraordinary.
Yeah, it's interesting. They looked in control of that game too. So, speaking of in control, look at that scoreboard. Lauderdale 90 points up on Hobart City Demons. They'll be
Boy.
flat, the boys from North Hobart, as it's punched down the line, picked up by Jones.
Bears brief will be very brief today, I reckon.
I
Gil.
reckon indeed. Palmer Hughes throws it on the boot. Vandervelde under it. He's an unorthodox player, Big Vandervelde. Tries to get his way out of traffic. Spills out the back. Grace will help himself find Standen. Just dinks over the top, and it'll be Bushner who'll take the goal. Bushner, a couple of assists and now a goal. A good last term for the Roos. And you'd think this one is not getting away from them. Clarence in control.
Yeah, and he's had a good last term himself, Bushner, with a couple of assists and a goal. And he is that dangerous target when he can push forward. And we've mentioned throughout he does have some great athleticism. Roos, I've been impressed with the response here because Launceston came really hard in the first 10 minutes of this quarter. But they've kicked the last 3 goals and a 21-point lead now, 22-minute mark of the last quarter. Breno, it's going to be difficult for the Blues to kick 4 goals, I would have thought.
Game over, Brownie.
Time on plus a little more.
Game over, you would think, here at Blunston Arena. As we go again, Leadham wins it on his own. And umpire says high. So Blackberry will get the free kick right in the middle of the ground. It goes sideways. Can't be too long left.
Oh,
Jones now intercepts for the Roos. Callanan drives it for nobody home, though, except Williams for Launceston. And that was
50,
silly.
I reckon.
50, have to be, wouldn't it? And you can't be disappointed with that when you know you've done the wrong thing.
No, unnecessary. Callanan just on that occasion thought there might be a Clarence player inside forward 50. That's why he swung it on his boot. But unfortunately, it all pushed up and Launceston had some numbers back.
Williams to Rundle.
He's worked hard, Rundle.
He has. He's been great today. He goes now inside 50. No one's there to take the mark, so Castle collects. It's the handball away to Callanan. It's forward to Standen. Couldn't take the mark. Bounced off the chest.
Oh, free kick. Sure.
Free kick, says Cam Brown. Umpire lets it go. And the Roos still have the ball. Here he is again, Williams. It's been good today as well, Brownie, after his week in the headlines. And out of bounds for a boundary throw.
I'm not sure he had much say in that for the record.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Didn't say he
Spending a
did,
bit of time in
Damien.
the headlines.
He's been in the headlines, though. That's a fair statement, I would have thought.
by association. That was about it. It'd be thrown in again. The Roos in control of this game. They'll win it. It'll be another good win for them. Launceston, though, wouldn't have lost too many friends today as it's punched towards the boundary line. Brendan Taylor picks it up, but then runs out of room.
Would Kelly Mansell, Hines and Lonergan have made a difference today, Brownie?
Oh, no doubt, but I guess on the other side of the coin, you've got Cox and Webberley, and they certainly strengthen the
Bailey.
Roos.
Also Bailey,
and
yeah.
Bailey, who's just such a reliable defender.
Yeah, so 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, really, isn't it? As Wall hands out, finds hands low, over the top for Callanan, being superb, finds Wade Wall. He's a good utility for the Roos. This kick not his best, though, straight to Tyrrell. And that'll be 50. Standen thought it was play on and it wasn't. So the Blues, if they're any sniff, will need to strike from this 4-8 forward.
Getting dark here, boys.
It
Where's
is
Carl
indeed.
Saunders? Need the lights turned on.
Tyrrell with the ball. Pumps it long into 50. Out the back is Whiting. Does his best on the way down to take the mark. Keegan Wiley picks it up and is wrapped up from both sides. The ball up. Launceston's forward 50.
He's going to be a good player for them for a long time, Ryan Tyrrell. Only a young player. A lot to like about him.
Nunn and Wiley in the ruck. Neither look like taking the hit out. Jones takes it out of the traffic. His handball not the best. Made to look okay by Mastrocola. Being superb today, Mastrocola. Out now through Murphy Cohen. A long kick down the line to Siggins. And he'll look to run away now, Siggins. Kicks it out in front of Blackburn. Blackburn will run in and put through the sealer. This game's over. Stixie Blackburn puts through another. And the Roos will celebrate here at Blunston Arena.
Well, that's his third, and Clarence have done that brilliantly all day, boys. That long kick, that deep inside forward 50, and they always seem to have a player who's running in with just the goal square in front of them. And once again, that was Sam Siggins who took the mark, pushed forward, and we saw Blackburn sprint in the open space and kick a goal. So 27-point lead now to the Roos. They were challenged, but it's been a really good response for them in the last quarter. And Blackburn, you mentioned Damo, he's been in really good form as a goal-kicking mid-sized forward, and he's done it again today. That's his third.
How's the spread of goal kickers today, Brownie? Because we know they've had a lot over the last few weeks, Clarence, or over the year, really, as we get underway again. Chambers is into the turf. Another ball up. How many have we got in individual goal kickers?
We got 7 today, which normally they often get around that 10 or 11 mark, but today they've had 4 players that have kicked 3 goals or more, so that's been a real feature for them.
Absolutely. As we see Launceston go forward once more. Chases on. Blues inside 50. It's all Roos though. Ball's tied up. And spills to ground. Another ball up. Can't be too long left in this match. Clarence 16-6, 102. Launceston 11-9, earlier today. Glenorchy smashed Bernie as we see O'Donoghue kick it. And juggles over for a minor score. And North Hobart Oval. What a win for Lauderdale. They are up and about the Bombers. There's no doubt about that. 145-56. Big game next week, boys, here at Blunston Arena. Clarence and Glenorchy. What a cracker that'll be.
How's the front and centre then for me and Callanan?
Front and centre from Callanan was superb. It's taken by Wall.
There it is again.
He'll kick it out the back to Bushner.
Catch him if you can, boys.
Here we go. Bushner at the races. Puts on the burners. He's got no one around him. He'll wander around, and that's a shocker of a kick. He had enough time to have a picnic and then just pop it through, but he went for the snap, and it did not come back at all. A minor score.
We had time to straighten up, Damo. It was a disappointing finish. We knew that he was, I think it was Vanderveld that was doing the changing. He was had it all to do there because we know how quick Bushner is.
So Vanderveld just nudges along and time the enemy of the Blues here. It's from Boyce, long for Rundle. Does well to make it a contest, and then bustling through is Brendan Taylor. Gets it moving, a kick looking for Whiting. He can't gather as he meets it. Does well to slap it his own way though. So providing support is Gillow. Turns around and snaps a bouncing ball. The bounce almost through. Mastrocola juggles it through for a minor score. He's been good today, Mastrocola.
I reckon it's one of the best games I've seen him play, actually.
As the ball comes back in. Ticking down to the final siren here at Blunston Arena. It's going to be a big win to Clarence. They stay top of the table in the TSL and remain the team to beat in 2017. As we said, a big test coming next week against Glenorchy, who have back in their groove, you'd think, after a big win today against the Dockers at KG5. Ball driven down to the Roos, forward 50, but hasn't worked for them. Big, strong tackle and holding the ball. So the Roos might have time here for one last goal.
Jordan Roberts pushing forward here.
It's been quiet today, hasn't he, Jordan Roberts? But he'll find his groove, I reckon. This long ball in, a pack forms. Out the back, Roberts is still there, but Callanan will take on the kick. It's a behind, though. So, Brownie, I'm interested in your thoughts. Where do Clarence sit? Do you think they're the team to beat, or are you still sort of headstrong in thinking North Launceston are the best team you've seen?
Yeah, look, I really liked North Launceston in the year. I thought some of their best footy was nearly the best I've seen. But, gee, it's hard to deny Clarence at the moment. They're in some really good form, and then you can mount a case of never completely dropped off Glenorchy. I just think their best is really strong as well. And we know Lauderdale, one of the informed teams of the competition, as the Roos run out 27-point winners.
Clarence 16-8, 104. Launceston 11-11, 77. Clarence answering every challenge this afternoon. Lonnie brought themselves right back into this game a couple of times, but the Roos are good enough to hang on for a big 27-point win. It's been a cracking game, boys.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. And look, I think Clarence would be rapt to get the 4 points, knowing, look, they were heavy favourites coming into this game. We've mentioned the omissions and players missing for both sides today. But look, they were challenged a couple of times, particularly in the second quarter and early in the last quarter, but they just had some really wise heads in the last 20 so minutes. But look, I thought Launceston were terrific. I thought they never gave up. And just ran out of a little bit of leg speed. And as I said, probably they just lack a little bit of depth in the midfield. Their midfield is probably their strength, but in terms of different players they can rotate through there, would be something that they'd love to have. And obviously Lonergan and Hines would have helped today having that. But Clarence, we know, have got lots of different players that can roll through there. But a good win to the Roos, but Launceston not denied, and thought they would walk away with their heads held up pretty high. But Clarence, gee, they've had a great turnaround in form in the last 12 months, Damo. And again, lots of players that are probably having career best years in the TSL, and that's probably one of the reasons why they sit on top of the ladder.
Well, Brownie, take us through the goal kickers. There are a fair few of them, especially for the Roos.
Liam Callanan was four goals today. Always looked dangerous, and we know he's so skillful by foot, left and right. Michael Blackburn bobbed up for 3 goals. He's a dangerous mid-sized forward. Trent Standon with 3, and Sam Siggins from the ruck also kicked 3, 1 each to Zach Bushner, Tyson Hanslow and Wade Wall. And for Launceston, a lone hand really from Sonny Whiting as a small forward, kicked 5 goals. A terrific contribution out of 11 today for them. Joe Boyce bobbed up in the second quarter with 2, and 1 each to Brendan Taylor, Jake Smith, Hamish Leadham and James Gillow.
Now, we'll put it on Breno to dish out the votes.
I'm interested in this.
Actually, a tough game because...
Real tough again.
Because players came in and out of it.
You're right.
No one played 4 quarters, really. There were some big goal kickers. What have you got for us, Breno?
Yeah, look, it is a hard task. I could go through a few Clarence players as well as Launceston. I guess Sonny Whiting has to get a vote. He kicked 5 in the end, Cam, so I'll give him 1. 3 votes on the ground. I'm going to go.
Hang on. What? So you're going?
I was going backwards.
And then 3.
3?
I was working.
That's unprecedented.
What is that?
All right.
Years and years we've gone 3-2-1 or 1-2-3, but you've just
All right.
reinvented something. I like it, Bruno.
Thank you. Thank you.
Innovation on the run.
The 3 I'm going to give to
Brilliant.
Sammy Siggins today. I thought he was fantastic. Kicked 3 goals out of the ruck, as you said, Brownie. He was. I mean, he definitely didn't slaughter Hamish Leadham in the ruck by any means, but I thought he was fantastic all day. 2 votes you could cast and then over a lot of players. Obviously, Ian Callanan was dangerous all day. Blackburn was good early. My man, Aidan Grace, was very good in that first quarter as well. I can't pick it. I don't know, boys. You give it the second vote, Cam. It's too hard.
So you're okay to pick your 1 voter and your 3.
Can't pick a 2.
But that is extraordinary. And you know what? I'm not even going to help you out. I'm just going to leave it hanging.
Okay, done.
Thanks for joining us today from Blunston Arena. The Roos, they stay on top. 16-8, 104 defeated a plucky Launceston 11-11-77. We'll be back next week live again from Blunston Arena as the Roos take on the Magpies. Join us then.